Right. You know what? I might as well put some music on until people come. Who panetta room and no chayo kawunda lul be who? He, she, the deities who nothing exists except by way of he, she, the mother, father, creator. Orness. Bakalum. Yeah, I'm gonna put some songs on until you guys, until the guys, the family tune in. Let me turn it down as well because it just distorting it. I keep distorting the tunes. Yeah, guys, how is everybody? I'm sorry I'm late. I'm always late. You're supposed to already know I'm late. I can just play some beats anyway. Yeah, y'all will be familiar with these beats. Yeah. Ooh, let's play this. Shout out Celestial Samurai. Shout out to the Forum Telegram family. Soul Gang. We're gonna speak about the days of Noah. Hold on, where's my notes? Ooh. This beat here is just my shit. This makes my thoughts travel. Yo, that beat there takes my thoughts around the cosmos. I'm gonna play another beat from Four Winds Productions when I end this live because these beats, I can just listen them over and over and over again. My recommended reads today, guys, is two of my books simply because of the subject we're about to discuss. So the subject that we're about to go into, which is the days of Noah, which is the same as the days of Revelation. I've spoke about this before from this end, like from modern times back into ancient times to connect it. So I'm going to do it from the other way around. I'm going to speak from the days of Noah into now to do it from the opposite side. So If you want to watch that live at another time, I'm sure it's on here, the Days of Revelation. Watch that at another time after you watch this one, because they'll both connect dots for you. But these two books out of all my books go into that subject a bit more than the historical things that, like Treasures in the Sun is more of a historical thing, and The Golden Child is more of a historical thing, and What Side of History, obviously it's more of a religious historical thing. These are more to do with these last days right now, with the whole scamdemic, this whole psyops that's been run on us. So the first part, coronation, the scamdemic, Agenda 21, this will show you what that whole shit was really about, and what they was trying to achieve, or what they have achieved, because they've achieved it, whether we like it or not. This timeline has to play out. So I've spoke from this before. I'm not going to get into the details of it, because I've already said numerous times, when I go into these two books, they remove my lives, they censor the shit, they just do not want me to speak about this shit. So I'm going to be very smart and speak about this subject without mentioning these two books. But if after this live it hits something in you and you want to go deeper on what I'm saying in this live, then it makes sense that you grab yourself these two books. This one's even worse, because obviously this came out before the thing came out. You know what? Let's say the antidote. Before they brought out the antidotes and the many forms of the antidote, yeah, I already bought this out and told you what the antidote was going to have in and shit. So there's certain things that I couldn't speak into because it hadn't happened yet. Then after the things came out, which was after the US elections, November last year, after the US elections, November, was it last year? Yeah, last year. That was when they brought out these antidotes, yeah, Trump with his warp speed and all of this stuff. So then that opened a whole nother can of worms, and we learned a whole bunch of new things that not even I put in this first book. So Ancestors was like, yo, the job's not done. You need to write a part 2 to put a conclusion to it. And it was in that time while I was researching the rest of it, where I was aware of, oh, it's not just Agenda 21, which is this book. That's the agenda they had first to set this thing up. But once it's set up, they have a next agenda, which is Agenda 2030, which you've probably heard now. So this book more goes into the Agenda 2030 aspects of it. With that being said, other than my books, because I don't just like to recommend my books, it feels like I'm begging it. It feels like I'm trying to get sales and that. So other than them books, remember I told you, I'm currently reading the Kaibalion. This is what I'm reading right now. It's not the first time I've read it, but like I've said before, books are not something you're supposed to read on like you know everything. Books are like schools, so you're supposed to revisit them, and the more your consciousness grows, when you revisit these books, you will get more from it than you did the previous time. So this is a really high time for me to be in this book, especially with all the lives about the illusion of reality and quantum realm and all of that stuff. This book has come at the right time. It's real close to my heart, so I recommend this book to all of you guys, the Kaibalion, yeah? And remember, in the illusion of reality lives, I made reference to the Emerald formula, which goes hand in hand with the Kaibalion, because they both are sourced from the wisdom of Tahuti, which is the Emerald tablets. Yeah. So this particular book on the Emerald tablets is one of my favorites, and it's a perfect companion for your Kaibalion, because this shows you more about the Emerald formula, how you use these principles to bring forth your astral self, to bring forth your magical self or your God self. So this is the Emerald Tablet, Alchemy for Personal Transformation. And this is written by Dennis William Hauck, who is a real alchemist, modern day alchemist today, and explains that to you, where they do have alchemists today who are still into their alchemy and stuff. And as I said, the first alchemist was the Hermetists. Yeah, the real Hermetists was the first ones who came with the science of alchemy. So all of this ties in. So other than my books, which is more relative to the subject we're going to speak about, other than that, I recommend these two books as well, even outside of this subject we're about to speak about, yeah? So with that being said, pa istaf bat, anuki fi pa ashuk shil kulum, wakul ashuk kalun fini, anuki farugun shil kulum, wakul kalun farugun shilni, anuki wahed ka kulum, wakul kalun wahed kani, nuk aikilu anjihu kama farugun shil kulum, wakhub kama fariyudun. Nuk aikilu akwenu kuldek nuk akfuzi fi kulum, kama tawul kama kafuzi kalun liya amidu fi kulum. Anuki kabaha wahud, kulum kalun anuki, kulum yakulnuk akilu, kulum doranuk abmilu. The all, yeah, the all prayer, the affirmation. I am in the love of all, and all love is in me. I am a part of the all, and the all is a part of me. I am one with the all, and the all is one with me. I can succeed as a part of the all and fail as an individual. I can be all that I wish in the all, as long as my wish is to remain in the all. I am never alone. All is, I am. All can, I can. All does, I do. Amun. And that's our quantum affirmation that we always say, yeah? So yeah, guys, we've spoke about the days of Revelation before. We all know what it means when people talk about the days of Revelation. The first thing that comes to your mind is going to be, okay, last days, the end of the world. But Revelation in itself only means, it comes from the Aramaic or the Semitic word, which is Injil, Injil, Injil. That means to reveal, yeah, to remove the covering, kind of like Apocalypse, the removal of the veil. So when you say Injil, and it rhymes with reveal as well, Injil means to uncover or to reveal. So when you're saying the Injil, which is 22 books that make up that scripture, which is the Injil that was passed to Yahya, or who we call in English John, not John the Baptist, John of Zebedee, who was, I think it was Jesus's nephew or his cousin, but he was family too. When I say Jesus, I'm into Joshua, the Black Messiah, who was born in 7 AD and lived for 120 years. So that means he died in 127 AD. Do you understand? Because if you ask the Christians and they tell you, okay, Jesus is born in 1 BC or 0, yeah? 0, because if they say BC is before Christ, then when you come to the 0 between the BC and AD, so that 0 is 1 year, and then we're no longer before Christ. Now we're after Christ because Christ is born. But if after 0 you get 1 AD, that means Christ only lived for 1 year, because he only did in that 0 space, and then it changes to 1 AD. Do you understand? But that's bullshit. The real Yeshua HaMashiach ibn Miriam, yeah, who is the savior, the Messiah, or the anointed one, the son of Mary or Miriam, yeah, 7 AD to 127 AD. He came after all of that. Do you understand what I'm saying? But what I'm saying, the book of Revelation or Injil was given to his nephew to give to him. His nephew, who they call in John, who had to run to the island of Patmos because them Greeks, Hellenics, Herod and them was trying to kill our people and kill Joshua and John and them. They had to flee. Do you understand? Because they looking to kill any messiahs or anyone that knows what they're talking about. So John ended up on the island of Patmos, where it said that the angel or Anunnaki, in the Bible they tell you the angel Gabriel. In Sumerian tablets that would translate as the Anunnaki Nusku, came down to John and revealed to him a revelation of what's about to happen in the end of time. So we did one live on that. Now we're going back to what's said in the Bible in regards to when this Jesus or Messiah figure returns. Then the Bible says, well, it's gonna be like the days of Noah. You understand what I'm saying? So that means we got to find out, okay, how was the days of Noah? Why are they referring to, okay, this last days is going to be like the days of Noah? There must be some significant events or something significant about the days of Noah that the church don't talk about, or the Hebrew Israelites don't talk about, or the Muslims don't talk about. Because all we think about when we say the days of Noah, most of us are going to think about, okay, the flood and the ark and the floating boat and the family got saved. And we're not going to think not much else other than that, because that's what the story of Noah is famous for. And we already know Enki left technology for his people. That means for us. So when Enki left there, he left us submarines, he left us flying crafts, he left us helicopters, he left us all types of shit that used to come and pick up us, his people. So you will hear in the Bible, oh, a whirlwind came and picked up Elijah, or a whirlwind came and picked up. That's just telling you a helicopter came. Enki was making these crafts. He had these crafts to transport gold and stuff. You understand what I'm saying? Ishtar and certain other Anunnakis had this crap. But Enki left this stuff for us down here on Earth so we could utilize them even before records began. We inherited that. We was a type 2 civilization in ancient times, and we was all in 5D vibration. This is what the historians don't tell you. So my point is, in the time of Noah, there was a whole heap, I'm talking about a mountain of stuff that was going on that never gets spoken about from a religious perspective. Your pastors or your rabbis or your imams, they're not going to speak to you about that side of things because it doesn't relate to the watered down version of religions that they're trying to give you now. It's not gonna add up. So they just completely leave that part out and skip over it. They do it in Egyptology, they do it in religion, and they just do it generally speaking. Nobody wants to accept that, hold on, there was higher beings here in previous ages of man, higher civilizations with higher technology. More people are willing to accept that with Atlantis. But when it comes to Egypt, we still want to look at it like, okay, they might have knew a bit of alchemy in that, but they didn't really have no technology. Now, we was a type 2 civilization. We had all the technology left for us by Enki that Gauds came and took over and inherited. But anyway, if we want to know what's really significant about what the Bible's saying when it says, yo, when the Son of Man comes, or this Messiah, so shall be that it should be like the days of Noah. We got to go back to the ancient Sumerian tablets and the Anunnaki story just to decipher what the Bible's really trying to tell us. Because remember, the Bible and all other religions is based on truth. But what they did is pushing a whole bunch of beliefs and dogma to scribble the message out. So really you start focusing on all these trivialities, half-truths and shit, and miss the message what these scriptures were really trying to tell you. So most of these scriptures now, like, I'm not trying to offend people when I go into this. Like, if you want to be a Christian, then understand, get away from the dogma aspects of it and get back to the crust, the core of what that shit was trying to tell you. That means you're going to have to go back to the ancient languages and that. It's not good enough to be relying on English and King James and all that shit. That means you don't really know what you're talking about. If me and you was to have a discussion, I'd probably lose you in the wilderness of the unknown because you're still stuck in English. If you want to stay in these religions, go and really research these religions so you know, yo, I'm not following Nana Sin or Alalu or some other fucked up Anunnaki where you're giving all your divinity to. My advice to you is not to follow none of them religions, to filter out of them the truths that all of them hold and leave them. Give them back to them people who want to dwell in that shit there. But if you do want to dwell in religion, at least, like, if you're a Christian, go and learn Hebrew. Don't be like these Christians that just speak English and go church and listen to a pastor, and the pastor himself probably don't even know Hebrew. You go and learn Hebrew in terms of what does this word really mean? What was this really trying to say to me? Away from the pastor or away from the Hebrew Israelite who wants to give you his interpretation or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? But anyway, the point is, if you do that, you will have to go beyond the Bible anyway, or the Quran, or the Torah, because them books are only going to be able to take you so far. They're only going to take you back to when the white man began. So if you really want to know, okay, how was we before we had to confront this mankind out of the mountains? So before 6,000 years ago, if you want to go into prehistory, then you're going to have to leave the Bible behind, and the Torah, and the Quran. Don't get me wrong, you're going to have to have learned all you need to learn up to that point. And then when you get to that point, you're going to find, yo, it's time for me to leave these things behind. And now I'm going to have to go back into my ancient Sumerian tablets and the ancient Kemetian stuff and the ancient Indian Dravidian stuff and the Olmec stuff, which is much more profound and deeper than this stuff they're giving us, telling us that it's religion. Do you understand? So when we go back to the tablets of ancient Sumer and the Anunnaki, we can focus, just for this lecture, just for sake of discussion, we're going to focus on 3 figures. These 3 figures is 3 kings tied in to Sumerian or Babylonian, if you want to use that name, their history, the history of that region. The 3 persons or characters, persons of interest that we're going to pivot it around is King Gilgamesh, yeah, you should be familiar with him, King Etana, yeah, and also King Nimrod, Sharukin. Them 3 figures in Babylonian history, there's many figures in Babylonian history that what we could speak about also. But in terms of this live, these ones are the most significant in terms of what I'm talking about due to the days of Noah. Because the days of Noah wasn't just the time in which this figure, this biblical mythological character Noah was around. The days of Noah is like, you could say it's a 1,000 year, maybe 2,000 year period. It's not just one day. Do you understand? But these figures, Gilgamesh, Etana, and Nimrod, was the persons where significant events happened, yeah, before, during, and after the time of what the Bible's calling the time of Noah. So they give in the history books, they say Gilgamesh was about circa 2900 BC. So they saying that's only about 5,000 some change years ago. You understand? So they say 5,000 years ago for Gilgamesh. Remember, I've told you in Treasures in the Sand, any date that the Muzungu give you, add a zero on the end of that date. And that date's closer. I'm talking about when we go to be prehistoric times, like pre-dynastic Egypt and stuff. I'm not talking about New Kingdom Egypt and dynastic Egypt, because all of them dates, you can verify them, the dates that are closer to us, you can verify them. Like if Ramesses and them say, well, this was the second year of Ramses' reign in the year blah blah blah, something in Greece might corroborate that, or something in Turkey might corroborate that. So I'm not talking about the dynastic time periods, yeah. I'm talking about before dynastic Egypt, when they try and tell you like Gilgamesh was 2,900 BC. Nigga, that's more like 29,000 BC. Do you understand? You got to add a zero on the end, and then that will be closer to the date than the date they're trying to give you, because they're trying to bring everything up. Because remember, they only 6,000 years old. They only been reading and writing for 6,000 years. So they trying to squash everything as close to 6,000 to 4,000 BC as they can. They try and bring it closer. So they knocking zeros off of your ancestors' dates. And the same goes for when they're talking about pyramids, especially pyramids in the Americas. Them dates that they're giving you is bullshit. Them dates for the Olmecs, they're giving you like 500 AD and all of that. That's bullshit, mate. You understand what I'm saying? The Olmecs was millions of years ago. They already in America. Even before America broke off from the Pangaea and drifted over there, they was already on there. Do you understand what I'm saying? So they giving you false dates, and the pyramids they tell you that was built in America, they false dates, because the same people is building pyramids all over the planet, because you can't build a pyramid in one place. It's going to put the planet out of balance. Do you understand? Anyway, first let's deal with Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh is a significant story to our discussion here dealing with the days of Noah, because Gilgamesh was a contemporary of Noah and family to Noah. The Epic of Gilgamesh is the oldest epic in the world, so we can say it's the oldest story in the world. Some people will rather say the Book of Tar-Hotep is the oldest book in the world, but I'm talking about an epic, like a story. The Book of Tar-Hotep is not an epic, it's not a story, it's a teaching. So therefore, they're both the oldest. But I'm talking about in terms of an epic, a story, the Epic of Gilgamesh is the oldest epic in the world. And it's a beautiful story told in a third person perspective about a certain king who was born in Babylon or Sumeria, yeah, in a certain place in Sumeria called Erech or Uruk. In the Bible, they say Erech, E-R-E-C-H, Erech, yeah. But that really comes from the Sumerian word or the cuneiform word Uruk, yeah. Uruk, Erech. Today you say Iraq. So in southern Iraq was the kingdom of Uruk that was in Sumeria. And Uruk and Sumeria, like I said, it wasn't all unified. Each city-state had its own king and had its own Anunnaki designated over that fucking region with his own temple. So you see one of them ziggurats, and then at the top there's a temple, and the Anunnaki would descend onto that fucking ziggurat, and he lived in the temple, like the temple of Nana Sin. So they had Anunnakis that was living with these early humans in the early infancy of humanity, or we're going back to the days of Noah here, yeah? And as I said, they give the time 2,900 BC. I'd rather say 29,000 BC. I'd rather stick a zero on there, but I'll leave you to do that for yourself. So this story talking about this Gilgamesh is significant because of this. When you go to the Kemetian text and the Sumerian text, they tell you about an age of the gods. This is talking about an age when it wasn't even us human beings who was ruling over ourselves. This was the early infancy of humanity, where we probably couldn't even rule over ourselves. We probably didn't even have enough sense. Maybe we did, yeah? But it was a time when the Anunnakis, yeah, was living amongst humans. And so to rule over humans, they dumbed us down, yeah? Because I got to do a whole nother tape on the humans that they met here, or the beings that they met here when they came to this planet, because this is not the Anunnaki's planet, believe it or not. Do you understand? It's kind of like they colonizers too. Do you understand what I'm saying? There was other people here watching them come down and manipulate this whole shit. But I'll do a whole nother tape on that. And it involves reptilians, yeah? But anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, Gilgamesh, yeah? So in them days before Gilgamesh, the Anunnakis used to rule over humans. So that means they would appoint one Anunnaki and he would be the king of the humans. So on Earth, he is ruling as the fucking king, or the Lugal Banda, if you want to use cuneiform Sumerian words. So you had certain Lugals, yeah, that was Anunnakis. In Egypt, they tell you, oh, it was Neteru. So it tells you about the age of the gods. If you go back to Herodotus and Solon and all them priests in Egypt and the classical Greek writers, they say, yo, these priests in Egypt say they go back 341 generations, and they had a statue that represent each one of them generations. So each generation is a whole family. But they had a statue that represented each one of these fucking generations going back 341 generations. They say it's something like 10,000 years back. And it make the Greeks look daft, like they just began to record their history. Do you understand? But on the Sumerian side, they go back even further. Their shit goes back like 450,000 years, some mad shit like that. Where they are, and both of these records have got the list of names of these Neterus who was ruling over man. The last one to rule over us in Kemet was Horus. And that's why each pharaoh set himself up like the Horus, because what I'm trying to say here is a point came where the Anunnakis was like, listen, we might as well pass it over to humans for them to rule over themselves. This is after the flood and after the calamity of the flood and everything. And remember what we've said in previous lives, how it's two agendas playing off in this family of the Anunnaki. You've got Enlil's agenda, which is against humanity, and you've got Enki's agenda, which is for humanity, because he's part of the original humanity that was already here when these Anunnakis came and started interfering. So he's right in the middle of this whole thing. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's two agendas, yeah? But anyway, after having their council, the great council of God, you can read about this great council in Psalms 82, verse 1 to 6. And it tells you about the mighty El, or Anu, yeah, speaks in a council where there's other gods. And he's got the final word because he's the most high. So they're showing you right there in the Bible that this same Anunnaki council business. And the Anunnaki always have councils to come to certain decisions, because remember, you got disagreeables and agreeables. So to come to a decision, they have to have these council meetings where Anu presides over it and says, okay, this is what way we're going. This is the last word on the thing. Do you understand what I'm saying? So they decided, yo, we're going to give humans their own rule. Humans are going to rule over themselves. We're no longer going to rule over humans. We think mature enough now to rule over themselves. But when they did that, the first step they took was say, okay, we're not going to make a full human rule. Let's make a half human rule first, one of our hybrids, because they had already been mixing in to the gene pool of the beings who were already on Earth at various different stages, yeah? They mixed in with the original beings that was on Earth when they came here and met the beings on Earth. They mixed in with them and made hybrids. Enki was one of them, yeah? Enki's mum was one of them. And then Enki's mum further mixed with Anunnaki more. So Enki's like even more Anunnaki, but still part reptilian. Do you see what I'm saying? And they kept doing it even when we reached the stage of Homo erectus, Homo sapien. They kept doing it. So you have different species of humans and groups from these mixings that took place in certain in certain waves. Do you know what I'm saying? So now one of them times resulted in a being in Sumeria, in southern Iraq, whose name was Gilgamesh, and his mum was an Anunnaki. More time it was the male Anunnaki who came down here and took women. Yo, these women are boom, look at her tits, look at her ass. Yo, these earthling women, nice. And they came down in group of 50s and started breeding out women and mixing into the gene pool. But Gilgamesh's case was different because it was actually his mum who was the Anunnaki, and his father, who was one of the early like priest kings, the go-betweens between the Anunnaki and the people. Because first these Lugal Bandas, they served that purpose. Before they was really the king, they was like the spokesman. So they could go into the temple of the Anunnakis and speak with the Anunnaki, and the Anunnaki would give them this message or order to give to the general people. So this same Lugal Banda would then go back out and speak to the people. So he was like the go-between between the Anunnaki and the people. So that's why all kings, when they first started, it was a spiritual thing. You weren't only a king, you was also the priest, because you was the representative of the people to the gods, to the Anunnaki. It weren't just like today where Queen Victoria sit down on a throne and tell everyone she's the queen. Like, you was the spokesperson to whatever Anunnaki was running your fucking kingdom. Do you understand what I'm saying? When it comes to Egypt, it was the Gauz, the Neteru, who came down in, and we'll get to that too. And they made their shit in Egypt, which wasn't exactly the same as the Anunnakis who had came generations before, Enki and them. You understand? It was like an equivalent thing, but I'll do another tape on that stuff. Anyway, being that Gilgamesh's mum was the Anunnaki and not his father, that made him more than just a demigod. Because a demigod is like half and half. You got half Anunnaki DNA from the male side, and you got half human DNA from the female side. But you see, where mitochondrial DNA comes in, mtDNA, the woman carries the mtDNA. Her DNA is more full than the male DNA. The same goes for the Anunnaki. They have that mtDNA thing too. That's why more time them Anunnakis marry their half sisters, because of this mtDNA. When the offspring that comes out of your half sister, meaning this half sister is not got the same mum as you because of mtDNA, but she has the same father as you with a different mother. So if you have a child with her now, that child is like double dose of your bloodline. He's got more say than any other child that you have born. This is what happened with Enki and Enlil. Enlil is that child where his mum and Anu is half brother and sister. So even though he's not the firstborn, because he's got the double blood and the blood of the mtDNA, he's the heir. Do you understand? And that puts a rivalry between Enki and Enlil. There's loads of reasons for the rivalry, but that's one of them. Do you understand? But going back to Gilgamesh now, it's the same for him. He's a bit more than a demigod. Yo, this guy's mum's Ninsun. Ninsun, the goddess of the sun, that's his mum. So he's got like a double dose of the Anunnaki thing going on. And it's like 2/3 Anunnaki and 1/3 human. That's how Baba explains it. So he's not just half. He's 2/3 Anunnaki and 1/3 human. And he was an unruly, horrible king. He was a bully to his people. He was one of them, because of who he was, his ego was just out the roof. My man used to do a whole heap of madness. I'll let you research the story for itself just to keep it short. But he was like the bridge when they started this Lugalbanda thing. Yeah, they started using hybrids and go-betweens before it came to real, like, okay, this guy is the king. Yeah, human, full human, like your Nebuchadnezzars and all your Salmanazars and all these Babylonian kings who came in later times. But first it started with these half-breeds. So King Atana is the same, where he was a half-breed. He's the second guy we're going to talk about. He's not 2/3 like Gilgamesh, but he's also a half-breed. He's a demigod. Do you understand? So when you go to Genesis chapter 6, verses 1 to 7, why I always bring you guys back to, that's like spanning the last 12,000 years, when these motherfuckers, all type of different ones of them, kept coming down and mixing in the gene pool of humans. Pleiadians, Greys, Andromedans, Mantids, Anunnaki, I'm talking about woolly-haired Riskians, Syrians, Orions, Gauds, all these different type of beings was coming down, and they was coming down in groups of 50s and mixing into the gene pool. Yeah, from 12,000 years ago all the way up to now, it's still going on. Do you understand? And it happens in waves. It happens in waves. You understand? So when you talk about Gilgamesh and that's the evidence. Like, they know this is not a myth or something Djedefre or whoever else is just making up. They've found evidence. Yo, this nigga really lived. The wall that he said he built, that wall is real. The shit that he spoke about, all the shit's real. And then other people speak about him, the King Gilgamesh, outside of fucking Uruk, outside of Iraq. So it's not just a case like Jesus in the Bible. Jesus in the Bible is only spoken about in the Bible. There's nowhere else you can confirm this Jesus character outside of the Bible. Do you understand what I'm saying? Or any more of these biblical figures, unless you confirm them through like our ancestors. Oh, we found Ramses, so that means Moses is real. That's bullshit. Do you understand? But they've found evidence. Yo, this Gilgamesh, and you could debate that they've even found his body, because you found them. They found them big fucking giants in a Cairo sleep or whatever. Some people are saying, oh, it's Nimrod. Next people are saying it's Gilgamesh. But I'm sure Hillary Clinton's email did name check Gilgamesh, where she was saying, oh, I want to breed with Gilgamesh because they're trying to make super soldiers and hybrids of themselves. So what they do is give their DNA or their egg or whatever. Maybe she even want to sleep with the dude, whatever. Yeah, to make these hybrids for their super soldier army and that. So they may have found Gilgamesh. I'm kind of feeling it is Gilgamesh and not Nimrod. But yeah, anyway. So another one is Etana, and he's known as the Eagle Man on Sumerian tablets. Why? Because the Anunnaki took him in one of their crafts, yeah, and he flew up from the earth and gives the description of the fucking experience of him being on this craft and just going higher from the earth until the earth looks like a lake, and then it looks like it's in a teacup. If you read the description, it's the description of someone going up and describing how it is the higher you go up from the surface of the earth and how the earth looks. He told you it looks like a fucking pond. You understand? So he went up with them. And in his story, that famous tablet, he's known as Etana, King Etana, the eagle man. And then more famous or more common to people will be Nimrod, who is being confirmed in history as who they call in Sargon. They had two of them, Sargon the first and Sargon the second. But Sargon, the first one, scholars tell you, okay, that's Nimrod. That's the same Nimrod of the Bible. And if we go into cuneiform and our own tongue, which is New Arabic, but let's call it cuneiform, yeah, the word is Shadukin. Shadukin, that means righteous ruler. So all the shit they're talking about him in the Bible and in the Torah and stuff don't really add up to what this guy's called himself, because they're saying this is the most evil, arrogant bastard, and he was against Abraham and all this shit, yeah, and they make a whole scapegoat out of this guy, yeah, and say he disobeyed God and the Tower of Babel and all of this stuff. But he named himself Sharukin. That means the righteous ruler. And he was the first, like, he's the real Alexander the Great. Because Alexander the Great weren't great. He was a Greek, exaggerated homophobe, yeah? But Nimrod was the real one who went round the world and conquered this whole bastard plane, this earth plane. There was no one to confront my man. Even down into Kemet and stuff, you will find reference to my man, yo. You understand? Sharukin, you understand? He was the first mighty hunter according to the Bible. Yeah, I think it starts Genesis 10 from 6. And he was the one who went into Sumeria and built up this Sumeria as in humans. He was the first half human, half man who went into Sumeria and made a human civilization and went against Enlil. So that's why religion hates my man, because he was on Enki's team. And he went and stopped a lot of Akkad, Kalne, which is the fortress of Anu. You'll find this if you read from Genesis, start from Genesis 8, and go through to Genesis 11, and you'll confirm everything what I'm talking about here. It's real for you. You understand? So them three people starting from 2900 BC, according to the Muzungu. Stick a zero on that 2900 if you want to follow what Djedefre is trying to tell you, yeah? So you can read about this Abraham character, and it confirms for you that this Abraham character was a colonizer. He was a Muzungu colonizer, the one that the Bible is talking about. You can start with Genesis 12, verse 1 to 20, and it tells you that God says to Abraham, look, get out of this land, which means Chaldea, Sumeria, Ur of Chaldea, Sumeria. Chaldea and Sumeria is the same thing. They switch the words around. So in the Bible, when you read Chaldea, you're reading about a certain area of Sumeria, and the capital of Chaldea was called Ur, which is the place of what you're calling fallen angels or fire demons. It means place of the fire demons. Ur means fire, or Il, or Nar, or Nir. Yeah, in Semitic languages, Nir, Nar, fire or light. You understand what I'm saying? So when he's saying Ur of Chaldea, it's talking about the fire, place of the fire demons. This is where Abraham's from. They're telling you in their fucking Bible. Do you understand? Genesis 12, verses 1 to 20. This God, whoever God it is, I'll tell you which God it is telling Abraham, look, leave here, this Ur of Chaldea. There ain't nothing here. And go over here to these people land. I'm going to give you that shit. What this Anunnaki's saying is go over there and take these niggas land. Take that shit, because that's where Enki's got his people. We're going to go over there and we're going to take that shit. This is what it's really hinting at in Genesis 12, 1 to 20, when God's telling Abraham, yo, go over here to this land where I'm going to show you, and I'm going to give you loads of land, and you're going to be fucking this great guy and the father of everyone's going to celebrate your name and shit. Genesis 12, 1 to 20. So this Abraham is a colonizer. You understand? Colonizer, and that's why Genesis 17:5 is calling him the father of many nations, because he opened up certain lands for these Enlilites, these children of Enlil who don't have no land. They have to come and start stealing your birthright because the land belongs to Enki. Okay, so this same Abraham story is also, because remember, cycles repeat from higher planes down to the lowest plane and stuff. This same Abraham story with Isaac and Ishmael is really the same story of Enlil, and we spoke about this before, Enlil and Enki, because Enlil's mum was barren, so she couldn't have a child. Yeah, so she gave another woman to Anu for Anu to have children. No, sorry, I'm giving you the story wrong. Enlil's mum didn't want Enki to have the firstborn rights. Do you understand? She didn't want Enki's mum or Enki to have any of the riches and the money that comes with being Anu's firstborn son. Do you understand? So they was against Anu mixing with these beings that they found on Earth who were reptilian when they first came here. They needed the gold. These beings are on this Earth. These beings that are on this Earth, this is their Earth. If you find them on this Earth, this is their Earth. So these beings now are going to need some kind of treaty or some kind of deal if you're going to do business with them. So the deal was, yo, these Anunnaki, we need the gold here. You got loads of gold on this Earth here. We need that shit. So we're going to make a deal and we're going to marry into each other so we can have these deals. And make note that these reptilians looked at the Anunnaki like they was disagreeable. Do you understand? Because disagreeable and agreeable is just a perspective. Yeah. But anyway, when all this was happening and the Anunnaki started mixing with these reptilians on Earth and breeding people like Enki's mum, and then Enki's mum, who was the princess of one of these reptilian bloodlines, because the reptilians that was here, the ones that was the like head chiefs, yeah, was her, one was her father. So Enki's grandfather was one of the real rulers of this planet. Yeah, I'm talking about on his reptilian side. This was a reptilian water planet. Yeah, these Anunnakis are coming here for gold. They making a deal. The deal results in the being called Enki, who's born. That makes a lot of argument in the Anunnaki themselves. A lot of these Anunnaki don't like this character Enki. They don't like this, what they call in half-breed or hybrid. Why? He's not full Anunnaki. Yeah, and Leo's mum, she's jealous of this Enki dude. So that's why they give it you in the Abraham story that Sarah, who's the equivalent of Antum, yeah, or Enlil's mum, yeah, is jealous of Hajar. Hajar is the equivalent of Enki's mum, Id, yeah, the reptilian, yeah. So she's jealous of her. Do you understand what I'm saying? So this is why the son comes out jealous too, who is Enlil, who is the God in the Bible who's talking to Abraham, the Anunnaki, yeah. He's jealous like his mum. He tells you in the Bible over and over this, yo, I'm a jealous God. Yeah, and I don't like other gods and shit. You don't call on no one's name except for me. If you do, I'm going to punish you down to your fourth generation and shit. This is how hard my man is with this. Yo, don't worship no other Anunnakis but me, rude boy. I'm the only God. I'm jealous and shit. Because his mum was jealous, yeah, in her time when she seen the thing with Enki and Id, yeah, with the contract with Anu. So in time when she's having and Leo now, all that jealousy in her filters into the child as well, because remember, it's one family. We keep seeing good and evil, but it's just like your family. Your family's got good folks in and it's got bad folks in. It doesn't make them not family. They still all family. Just like here, with the Enki and Enlil thing. It's still a family thing. And let me tell you, the Most High already seen this coming and he has a plan that none of us can see but himself. Yeah. So this Abraham story that they're giving you in the Bible, yeah, is really a filter, a watered down version of the story of Anu and Antum and the reptilian queen Id, who was the draconian or serpent queen on Earth, humanoid serpent queen, because it had already been mixing with these Anunnakis, yeah. And Ishmael and Isaac is representative of Enki, Ishmael, and Isaac, Enlil. You understand what I'm saying? So when you get to Genesis 10, when it's telling you about Sharukin, Nimrod, and around the story of Noah and going into the story of Abraham and that, yeah, it's dealing with the fact that because you got these two agendas now, Enki is making all this technology and stuff on Earth to transport his goal. He's got helicopters, they got submarines, he's got boats, he's got like fucking vans, cars, all of this shit that we have now, rockets, the whole shit, yeah. And he's making this technology on Earth. That's why one of his names is Nudimud, which means the fashioner, because he made a whole bunch of stuff. A lot of the stuff he made was to do with water, as he was a water being part reptilian. His other name was Ea, he whose home is water. So he was making a lot of waterworks and a lot of stuff to do with the water and transportation and stuff. You understand what I'm saying? And also he was teaching us about Kundalini sciences and also the science of stargates and the science of you know, real language like quantum grammar and stuff, where you could speak stuff into existence, and the alchemy and all of that hermetica kind of stuff. Because remember, Nigizada or Tahuti is Enki's son. Do you understand? So all that's coming from Enki's side, stuff that he passed down to us, the original people of Earth who come out of his seed, who come out of his genetics and DNA. And so in cuneiform, when you say the word Babylon, we associate that with police and the mark of the beast and the end of days and all that. But really, Babylon only means the doorway or the gateway to El or the gateway to Anu, which that area was seen as a spaceport because they had this Stargate that was building. It wasn't a rocket, just a rocket station like they try and give you in a conventional kind of interpretation. It was, they did have rockets and stuff, but it was more a Stargate and Stargate technology that they were dealing with, because these Anunnakis, when they came down here, like I said with Enki, they weren't dealing with no iPhone technology. I'm talking about serious technology dealing with stargates and quantum computers and the manipulation of matter, all that shit you see CERN and them trying to do now. Shout out to Mahogany X. I just seen you flash up. So if you go to Genesis 11 verses 1 to 9, you'll see that's when Enlil and them are like, yo, let's go down here and fuck up what Enki's doing, man. Because if Enki keeps teaching these people like he's teaching them, they are going to be so powerful, we're not going to be able to stop them. So this is why now you have that in the Bible where God is worried. He's worried about these humans because Bible already put it to us like this. Ask yourself, why is God worried about these humans? That have to have mean these humans can do what the Bible's saying. If the Bible's saying, yo, if we leave these humans, they'll be able to accomplish anything they want. Anything they think about, they'll be able to do it. So and then God's come down, yeah, or send angels down, however you want to say it. Either he's come down or sent angels down, according to whether you're reading the Bible or Quran, yeah, and he's dealt with the matter by confusing these humans. One, that means these humans were capable of doing what God's scared of. Because if they wasn't capable of doing anything, then God don't have anything to worry about. He wouldn't have come down here or sent people down here to stop them humans having the potential of achieving anything they want. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I hope I'm not tying you up. So this is Enlil. When you go beyond the Bible now and you go back into the Sumerian tablets, this is Enlil and them saying, fucking hell, Enki is doing too much. He's making these humans too powerful. We want them dumb. We don't want them to have stargates and work our stargate technology and that. Why is Enki leaving his shit to people and stuff? You understand? Why is he making this doorway to El, doorway to Anu? So Genesis 11, 1 to 9, you hear Enlil talking to his guys, his gang, saying, yo, let's go down and confound these humans and confuse them. So they came down here and confused the language so people stopped speaking on one type of language so they could communicate enough to get the job done. Yeah, this is when they stopped us from being a type 2 civilization. Like I said, we was a type 2 civilization where we could harness all the sun's energy and manipulate matter and all that shit. They type that in on Google, like the young Ella says. Go and type in, what is a type 2 civilization? And they hide in the fact that back in the days, and many of our ancestors, especially in Egypt, was already a type 2 civilization on Stargate technology and all that shit, sailing around the world and mapping out the world with latitude and longitude and all of that shit before Mzungu started picking up pens. So all this is happening in the days of Noah. When the Bible tells you how it was in the days of Noah, that's how it's going to be in the end of the world when the Son of Man returns or the Christ consciousness returns or the Messiah figure returns. It's going to be like the days of Noah. So all this shit what I've just spoke about, that shit's happening now. It's already happened and it's happening now. Remember I told you, if you go to 0, 0 and you got 1 AD and you got 1 BC, yeah? If you go all the way back in the BC, yeah, and write down the events that happened, let's say the Hyksos, they invaded Egypt, yeah, in the, let's say, 1400s, 1500s. They invaded Egypt and they kept Egypt or Kemet or black people in slavery for 400 years. This is 1500, 1400 BC, around that time. Now, if you come on the other side of 0 and you come into 1400, 1500 AD in our modern times, you have the same history repeating. All the details might have changed slightly. Like you get, okay, now you got, let's just call it transatlantic chattel slavery. Whether we think their people got took from Africa or whether they got enslaved in America, whatever. We have the same slavery shit going on both sides of this fucking mirror. So like I keep telling people in my writings with Treasures in the Sand, you should see that 0, 0 between the AD and BC. That's like a mirror. So now history repeats itself. So now I figure that bastard, if I study all the events that happen down the timeline in history, it's like I can see ahead on this side. Okay, so this is what the fuck is coming here. Do you understand what I'm saying? And this is a secret that they don't. None of these religions are giving you this shit here. They're not giving you this. So now, like I say to people, I've got a live on my page called 2024 BC. If you don't know what happened in 2024 BC, I advise you to make time in your day and go and watch that fucking live, 2024 BC, and what happened between Enki and Enlil. You understand? So we was down here learning Stargate technology of Enki, yeah, our father, and he was leaving technology like choppers and aeroplanes and fighter jets and the whole fucking shit, laser guns, spears with lasers on them. We had all types of technology, waterwork technology, all types of shit that made our civilization in Kemet, Egypt, and Americas, the Olmecs and everybody else, we was fully equipped. It's only in Sumeria and India and stuff where Enlil had his little mind control thing going on, where he had these dumbed down robotic humans that he kept sending in as agents, these black devils, to fuck up our shit. And then they got clever and started breeding Mzungu by doing the Mars experiment and going breeding their whole, all of these niggas now. And you got them speaking like David Icke and all of them. These are what Enlil bred. Do you understand what I'm saying? And it's really like that. Yeah? So they came down here and confounded what was going on down here with Enki. Remember, Enki got took off the project. So now Enlil's in control. They confounded this whole fucking shit. And they started to manipulate things here. Enki wasn't a manipulator because Enki, these people on Earth is his people. He's the heir to this planet. He's the rightful heir of this planet. His mum's side, going back to his grandfather, he's the rightful heir of this planet. Them reptilians respect him. They ain't got no beef with Enki. They're like, yo, he one of us. We want him to be the representative. So when he got took off the project, that made a whole bunch of more problems. Because these niggas don't even like Enlil. These reptiles, they don't fuck with my man. And like I said, agreeable and disagreeable is just a perspective. Nobody's totally disagreeable or totally agreeable. Everybody's got a reason for why they make a choice or take a certain stand. So you can never just disregard somebody just because you don't agree with them. That's their perspective. You can take it on board and consider it and associate it, but you can't just write it off and say, oh, this person's evil, or this person who's evil might be a fucking savior to somebody else. That he might have saved their life, he or she. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's a perspective, yeah? But anyway, Enlil and them, to us humans, they disagreeable because they don't have our best interests at heart. They don't give a fuck about us. They looking at us like we some creatures. They disagreeable. So Enki and them is agreeable who we come from. Do you understand? Because he's trying to promote Earth and the life on Earth and make us be our own entity and stuff, and got into trouble for it. So anyway, the manipulation started with Enlil and Mother Hubbard and all of them type bastards, yeah, where they started manipulating events, yeah, to the point where it caused a fucking another war, where you can see as the second war with the where the reptilians are involved and stuff, and half the reptilians are siding with Enlil and Mother Hubbard because Mother Hubbard is their creator. Where some of the reptilians like Enki and them's mum, don't get it twisted, they're not evil. Enki and them's mum and them reptilians that were native to Earth, they were agreeable. You understand? This is their planet. They ain't looking no beef. Yo, we here. These niggas came here and they started fucking up everything. So as far as they're concerned, these Anunnaki are disagreeable. Do you understand what I'm saying? And as far as the Anunnaki are concerned, they looking for gold. These people are giving trouble. These people are agreeable, are disagreeable. Do you see what I'm saying? But anyway, the ruling made by Anu was they wasn't supposed to be mixing their DNA with the beings that was created on Earth. None of them. Enki or Enlil, none of them. They weren't supposed to mix with the beings, with the genetic Earth pool on Earth or the evolutionary cycle of Earth. They were supposed to just set it on its own evolutionary cycle and leave us alone. But they couldn't leave us alone. They kept mixing their DNA into the genetic pool of the Earth and kind of fucked up the plan. You understand what I'm saying? So Enlil and them also, they didn't just do it with native people to the planet. They started mixing with the fucking Mzungu. Do you understand what I'm saying? Which is like forbidden. they actually started Nana Sin and them, who's Enlil's son. Enlil had sons and daughters, yeah, who you get like Nana Sin, you get Ninurta, yeah, and then Nana Sin had sons and daughters. He had twins. One was called Shamash, one was called Ishtar, the famous Ishtar. You understand what I'm saying? So all them gods, they're Enlilites. They're on Enlil's team. Do you understand what I'm saying? They're his children, and they started mixing in with the fucking Mzungu and other different beings in Sumerian stuff. They started mixing in with Hittites and Canaanites and Girgashites and Jebusites and Amalekites. They mixed in their fucking genetic pool. So all that pale face shit, when you see him with the Ashkenazim and stuff, they are kind of like family to Enlil and stuff, because they mixed in with them Semitic Hasidic Jews and stuff, Ashkenazim and Khazarians and shit like that. They mixed into that genetic pool. So Enlil lost his birthright or lost the seat because he was so bent on getting one upon on Enki, he jeopardized his whole position as the heir to the throne. And this shit happens, like I told you, every family's got fuck ups, and he's a fuck up, man. You understand what I'm saying? And so we see him as disagreeable. But like I was saying, all of this was happening before, during, and after the times of Noah, where the Bible says, yo, the last days is going to be like the days of Noah. So when Enlil and them started manipulating, they was doing, even Enki in his early days, they was doing genetic splicing, genetic manipulations, and they didn't just create us as humans, yeah? They created a whole biosphere so that we could thrive on this planet in our own sphere. So there was a lot of animals that was created with us, and different plants, and different animals were also brought here, and different plants brought here to make this atmosphere conducive to us who breathe oxygen and shit. Or at the time, super oxygen, 002, 008. Do you understand? Now it's just O8 oxygen, where it used to be super oxygen, so everything was bigger. You understand? They started doing all these genetic manipulations in the lab and stuff, and making minotaurs and centaurs and spliced up creatures. All the shit that's happening in underground bunkers today on both sides of the Atlantic, right here in the UK, in America, in China, in Russia, in the Ukraine and shit. Genetic splicing, bashing animals together, cloning, fucking consciousness transfer, CERN, stargates, portals. All of this shit was happening in the days of Noah. When you go back to Genesis 7 and read about this story about Noah, in the Bible, they just condense the shit. So it's not really going to tell you much there unless you know how to read it and have other keys, like from the Sumerian tablets and stuff. If you're just reading straightforward from a religious perspective, you're never going to see what we're seeing here. Do you understand what I'm saying? So yeah, when we say manipulation, when the Anunnakis came down and manipulated, we're talking gene splicing and fucking quantum sciences and genetic manipulation and in vitro fertilization and splicing and all of that shit, man. That's what we're talking about. That was happening in Sumeria. Do you understand what I'm saying? And then first it was under the command of Enki, but then Enki changed his nature and Enki became agreeable. And he was like, yo, well, I like this shit. I don't want to really fuck up this planet like that the Anunnaki family, my Anunnaki family want to do. This is my family here, yo, we can all get along. So when he started changing, they took him off the fucking project. He already started stealing the gold. He was like, listen, these people are fucking up. Right, I got all these crafts and shit. I'm going to start stealing this gold and shipping it to America and shit. At first, the young elder says, the other Anunnaki didn't even know Enki had these crafts, shipping gold and stealing gold and hiding it in America and stuff. Do you understand? But that's what we mean when we say the mixings. We're talking about all the genetic manipulation and splicing and stuff. And also we're talking about how the Enlilites started mixing their fucking seed with these Mzungus and that. They started mixing their seeds and making these children of Enlil and these pale faces, man. Like the Rothschilds and all these bloodlines that we see today. Yeah. And also that, like I said, the beginning of that, well, part of the beginning is the Jacob story, who they call in their Bible Jacob, and they call their father or their patriarch, yeah? Because if you go back to the story of Jacob, which is Genesis 25, if you go to Genesis 25, 19, verses 19 to 34, yeah, it shows you that really this God, Enlil, all he wants is land for his new breed of fucking people, because he's like, them beings are unsanctioned, so they don't have a place on the planet. They don't have no land or none of that type of shit. They're not native to this planet. They're genetic graftation and stuff, and it's not sanctioned. He's broke galactic law. So this God, Enlil, in the Bible, has to keep telling people, yo, I'm going to give you land, because he don't have land. Really what they should say is, yo, we're going to take this land. We're going to go over here, Abraham, and whoever we find here, I know who's over there. It's Enki's people. But anyway, when you find these people, they're evil, yeah? Yo, these people are evil. Kill them. Wipe them out. That's what this God's doing in the Bible, and telling telling humans to do killing in his name and kill people because these people don't believe in him, or these people are this and these people are that. So this is the whole Enlil, bigot God business. Jealous fucking bigot God Enlil. Yeah. So like I said, Genesis 25 verses 19 to 34, yeah, is this same Enlil God, this Anunnaki Enlil, that's fucking telling these these prophets, oh, I'm gonna give you land, yeah. And this is what it means by stealing a birthright, because this story goes into the him stealing the birthright, Jacob, from his brother, who's Esau, who really had the birthright over the land as the firstborn. So really this ties back into the Enki and Enlil story again, yeah. And so when it's telling you about how Esau sold his birthright for a bowl of red stew, you understand? And so Jacob, the word itself means supplanter. That means colonizer. That means somebody that's come to replace your ass and steal your fucking identity. So the word Jacob itself, or Jacob, means supplanter, somebody who's going to supplant you. So they steal the birthrights to the land, like Rod Hayes is trying to tell people. They steal the birthrights to the fucking land, and it's Big Mama, like I'm saying, it's Enki's mum who's made Enki who he is on this planet. It's a matriarch thing. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's that Big Mama energy. But like I'm saying, don't lose perspective of the fact that it's still one family when you're talking about Enki and Enlil. You just got a bad seed who just went fucking rogue. He's a fuck up. We've all got them in our family, whether we got the crackhead uncle or the crazy deranged cousin or the hoish fucking. You understand what I'm saying? Yo, we've all got these fuck-ups in our family, and it's no different for the Anunnakis, yeah? And like I said, agreeable and disagreeable is just a case of perspective that is just relative. It's based on what? Do you understand? It's not absolute, you understand? It's like, yo, what side of the fence do you sit on? What perspective are you coming from? What angle are you coming from? You're going to have a difference of opinion, you understand? The way that the Bible's made it seem, and religion in itself, like this good and evil thing, is total bullshit to warp your mind, to give you this wrong perspective on reality. Yeah. So now to bring that story up to date, all the geopolitics, the geopolitical events that we see going on today with the gender fluidity and all this like attack on women, where it's like you can't even identify as a woman no more. And we all know we've had this massive attack on masculinity for God knows how fucking long. Yeah. All these geopolitical events like these proxy wars, yeah, between the Ukraine and Putin and them, and fucking these psyops with the pestilence and the plagues. Yeah, I'm trying to use words so I don't get censored. Yeah, and then you have all these riots and this race war business and the censoring and all this shit. All this shit, like I said, was going on in the days of Noah. All that stuff we just spoke about. Don't think that there weren't people on earth like, you know what, Enlil and them are fucking, yo, that's the devil and shit. And people like us, they had an equivalent to our consciousness on the planet at that time that's talking about the shit we're talking about now. You understand what I'm saying? Like the planet always has this consciousness on that knows shit. Do you understand? So all of these discussions and stuff, all of these geopolitical events and lying politicians and stuff, the Earth's already seen that. In ancient times, on the other side of the mirror, they already had a Djedefre in ancient times telling motherfuckers this same shit from an ancient perspective, an ancient version of me sitting down telling motherfuckers in his house or wherever the fuck he is. It's real like that. Do you understand? This thing is mirrors, man. Yeah. So when Revelation 13:15 talks about this, whatever it is, that had the power to create images and give life to these fucking images so that they could speak and they could fucking talk, and that is telling you about the real. The real is mass media. It's saying, yo, we're going to come to a time where now we got this technology where they can make pictures. Yeah. I'm on the screen to you right now. I'm moving. Yeah. Somebody who first seen that, like back in the day, if they never seen this technology before, they might have thought I'm inside this phone. They might have been looking at this phone like, bastard, I seen a guy trapped in a fucking phone. To them, that's magic, to Rare Claire. To me and you, it's nothing. It's a phone. You understand? It's internet. It's social media. But imagine showing that to someone who ain't never seen no shit like that. They just natural. They never seen no fucking tech. And you showing them that. And you speaking to them, yo, what go on? And they thinking, bastard, you inside of that shit. You understand what I'm saying? It says it's going to come to a time on earth again, because we already had this technology. But when it comes again in the hands of this demiurge, the archons, the way they're going to use it against the general population is what Revelation 13:15 is trying to warn us about. Saying, yo, this mass media thing, you can't trust the media no more. You can't be looking at these news channels, these big corporations, news channels for anything. If you I keep saying this, if you're one of them people that put on the news just to see what Boris is saying, from the you're watching BBC or CNN or fucking Fox or NBC or ABC, and yo, these major corporations, yeah, is a part of the fucking that whole Revelation 13:15, where they're giving you these moving images. And remember, we've already discerned among ourselves that some of these people on TV, they're not even real. Some of them are holograms. Some of them are fucking clones. Some of them are robotoids. They're not even all, they're not, some of them are aliens, shapeshifters and shit. Some of these aliens that are using 40% of their DNA, they can shapeshift, like that bitch in X-Men, the blue one with the blue skin. But they're real beings that they using at least 40% of their DNA. They can change into anything they look at. They can change into a dog. They can change into a tree. They can reconstruct their DNA and stuff. They're real fucking creatures. There's creatures right now sitting down in your government and certain organizations and in the fucking NHS and wherever else, and they're not even human, and we don't know. These niggas is aliens. These niggas is tourists. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when Revelation 13:15 is telling you about this image of the beast, it's trying to tell you about Hollywood. It's trying to tell you about these news networks and mass media and the paper networks and the music industry and the sport, all this digital fuckery. Do you understand what I'm saying? Smartphones, 3G, 4G, internet, social media, Facebook, Meta, fucking IG, Snapchat, TikTok. All of this is the same fucking, yo, they was able to give power unto this image of the beast, that it might speak and fucking walk and talk and shit and mass hypnotize most people. This mass media shit is a mass mind control program, MK Ultra shit, where most 75% of society was in a mind control thing. I can't say it's that high now. I really feel like it's changing. I can't even tell you what the number, I'd have to think about where I think that number is right now. But I think it's more closer to 50-50 to Resclet. You understand? But all of this is telling you about shit, and it's funny that Revelation 13:15 says that about this media thing, and then straight after that, the next verse 16 tells you about this mark of the beast, and he forced all, big or fucking rich or poor, to take a mark in their between the eye or on their right hand, yeah, so no one could buy or sell without this fucking mark. It's funny. 13:15 is telling you about this mass media hypnosis, the real. What I tell you is the REEL, like the real, yeah, the real. And then straight after that, verse 16 is telling you about, okay, and now they're going to come with this mark, this microchip thing. And notice that in order to sell you this chip, they have to use the media. It's the media and the news stations and this mass media has to, social media and everything that has to keep selling you this fucking technology, this chip. Nobody in the streets is going to come and, it's not going to work like that. They need this media. It ties together. Do you understand? So they come in with this chip now. So I'm trying to tell people for the longest while since 2020, we right there in the timeline right now. If you want to use Revelation as a timeline, there's loads of timelines, like Empress Lotus always reminds me. But to use this timeline, that's where the fuck we are. We in Revelation 13:16. Just maybe we're a bit past it now. But that's where we were when we hit 2020. Are you guys still with me? So when it's telling you about no one will be able to buy or sell and that people will have to take a fucking mark, what they're trying to create is a DNA database. They want a digital DNA database where everybody's DNA is logged on to that shit in their matrix. Then that way they can copy your DNA and upload you as consciousness transfer. They can upload your genetics, because remember I told you it's technology, yeah? They can upload you digitally online and make you a mortal, a as a letter a mortal, as opposed to immortal, where you got the digital fucking self and you're just forever this digital fucker. They can keep putting you in robots or different fucking meat suits and all of that shit. You understand? Revelation 13:16 was telling you about that. And then when you go into, you know what I'm talking about, then that shit is to achieve that for their digital DNA database, where they can move into, because remember their cosmic contracts up, their DNA's finished. So now they need other shits out of other people's DNA, especially our black race, yeah, to enable them to give themselves these fucking chance to be like Agent Smith, where they don't have to finish. The program's done, but he ain't done. He gonna fucking continue. He's freed. They trying to be like that. So if you go back to Revelation 9, it tells you, and an angel fell to earth, yeah, and he had the key to the bottomless pit, yeah, and it made fire and smoke, and they've made fire and smoke, and there were locusts and shit, yeah, and the locusts fell to the earth. What that's telling you about is some kind of fucking nuclear bomb or neutron bomb. That's what the fuck it is, yeah. They keep giving you these fairy stories like Jonah and the whale. A whale came, ate a man, swallowed his Ross whole, digested him, went back underwater for like 3-4 days, came back up and spat the nigger out whole. They think we children and shit, man. This is why I keep telling people, yeah, and people get offended, religious people, but children's fairy tales breed adult religions. That's why they tell us about Hansel and Gretel and the moon's made out of cheese and all these fairy tales in school. Because when you're adult, in your first 7 years, you had all that fairy tale shit. So now you as an adult, you still believe in all this fairy tale shit. As a child, you believed in Santa. Santa was more fucking, a hero to you than Jesus. Jesus never showed up every Christmas. Santa was coming every Christmas with his fat self and giving me what the fuck I wanted. So as children, we're more into Santa, be honest. And now that turns into Jesus. That Santa Claus turns into fucking Jesus as an adult. You still into these fairy tales. When your children are telling you, or talking to no one and that, you telling the children, Santa's not real and imaginary friends and shit. But what if your child told you, yeah, so he's fucking Jesus? He an imaginary friend too. Do you understand? People don't get how the mirror works, how it's the same. What you learn in your first 7 years, teaching children about fucking Jack and Jill went up the hill and all this fucking Humpty Dumpty stuff. And so when you're an adult now, you're more prone to believe in these religions. Oh yes, Muhammad flew to heaven on a donkey. The donkey had wings. Yeah, and it took one step and it reached heaven. Like, what the fuck? That sound like fucking Humpty Dumpty. That don't reason out to me. We dealing with sound right reasoning. It has to sound right. It has to be logic. You be able to hear the truth in it. Now, if I told you that, when Jonah, this whale, that weren't no whale. That was a submarine. That means Jonah was one of Enki's people. And Enki and them niggas pulled up. What up, Jonah? Jump in, rude boy. He jumped in the submarine. The submarine went under the water. 3-4 days. They came up somewhere else. Put that nigga back on the shore. See you later. Go and speak to them people there, rude boy. What makes more sense? But religious people get offended. They telling us that our shit's fake. I had one of my friends tell me that the other day, who's a Muslim, Asian guy. He's telling me that when I posted up that before Islam and Judaism and Christianity, we had like Kemet and we had, Benin and all them West African traditions. He says, that's fake. He just came up on my shit. That's fake. But this is part of the psychosis of dogma that is holding these people. Like, they really feel the need to say that. Do you understand? I'm not a Muslim. You understand what I'm saying? So you got to prove to me how our shit's fake when your shit's only 1,400 years old. Our shit wasn't forced on no one. We came up with that on ourselves. Your Islam, you forced that shit on people. You see what I'm saying? That's a whole nother debate. But I'm saying it's the religious psychosis of this shit here because of what's going on the earth right now. But when you go to Revelation 9 and it's telling you about this angel fell to earth, they're telling you about fucking some kind of bomb, some kind of missile that's about to fall on fucking earth, yeah, and smash shit up. You understand? That's what it's saying. It's saying the bottomless pit. That means whatever fell made a pit in the earth and there was smoke and fire. And when it's talking about locusts, more time, it's these ancient people who've never seen this technology saying, these things are flying through the air like locusts. He probably looking at missiles smart bombs, hellfire missiles, fucking scud missiles, all this shit, yo, locust terrestre. You see what I'm saying? So all this was going on in the days of Noah. The same proxy wars, yeah, that Matthew 24:24 warns people about. In those days there'll be wars and rumors of wars. What have we got now? We got right now this whole Putin thing, and that ain't the only one. There's still shit kicking off in the Palestine where they're cleaning up these Palestinians. There's shit going on in Yemen where they're killing off Yemenis. There's shit going on in Ethiopia where, yo, it's mad how much war is going on unreported, where they only telling you about one, the proxy war. But it's wars and rumors of wars. So when it says rumors of wars, I feel like that's telling us, yo, some of these wars is false. These niggas is making these wars to keep us stuck on certain hysterias and shit. That shit's all created. That's orchestrated. So all that is going on now ties back to what we spoke about with them characters, King Gilgamesh, King Itana, and King Nimrod in Babylon or Sumeria in 29,000 BC. Mzungu say 2,900 BC. Djedefre says 29,000 BC. Do you understand what I'm saying? Where Enlil and them came down and took over the project, dumbed humans down, and was doing all type of fuckery, genetic splicing and mixing and fucking cloning and all types of stuff down here, messing with portals and stuff, inviting other beings to come down and deal with certain magic and So Matthew 24:21 is another good verse to read. Make sure you read these verses that I'm shouting out to you guys, yeah? And Revelation 7:14, also Deuteronomy 4:30. Yeah, so when the angel falls to this earth also, it talks about how they're going to black out the sun, how it blacks out the sun, yeah? And the moon stops shining its light. Do you understand what I'm saying? So now when we see Bill Gates and Bezos and all these Chinese niggas, yeah, talking about Operation Solar Warden or Project Solar Warden, where they want to fucking block the sun and they want to shield out the sun, and they launching up all these fake suns in the sky and shit. It's the same shit, man. It's right there in Revelation what links into this same Days of Noah stuff, because we know if we go into the Upanishads and the Rig Veda and the Bhagavad Gita, they dealing with nuclear bombs and lasers and all types of shit from the Sinai Peninsula going all the way into the fucking Indus Valley. Big fucking wars, lasers, fucking nukes, radiation, the whole fucking shit. You can even read the lamentation text of Earth and hear how people are describing the aftermath of some of these nuclear bombs, where people's flesh is just falling off their face and shit. You can just see their teeth. These are real first-hand witness reports of this is what the fuck is going on. People is eating people and shit. And we just go on normal. Most of us don't even know what the lamentation text of is. What the fuck is that? Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm trying to give you fucking lens, trying to give you the icy bastard. This shit is fucking deep. And this is why this population is so dumb. Do you understand? No offense to anybody. So yeah, these proxy wars and stuff that they're putting on is an excuse for them to manufacture these food shortages that we see coming. Yeah, because also they've not told us and come clean of the fact that all this GMO food that they've been giving us, I told people this in 2009 and kept telling them all the way up to now. All this stuff that they give us, like chocolates, crisps, biscuits, shower gel, cream, all of this fucking stuff, man, yeah, it's got GMO and nano shit inside of it. They already been doing this shit before this corona stuff hit us. They putting it in ketchup, putting it in chocolates, they putting it in fucking your bath soap, they putting it in your orange juice, they putting it in vegetarian crisps, everywhere, whether it's aspartame, saccharine, whatever name they want to call it, E this, E that, E246 this, whatever scientific name that's got like 60 letters in the shit that we just fucking disregard it when we buying our products. All of these famous products, Nestle, what's the one that makes the baby oil, Johnson and Johnson, all these fucked up companies, man, that have already been giving us this GMO destruction and replacing our food, especially in the food, like GMO food, seedless fruits. They replaced our fruits. Nobody even made an argument. Now it's like the hardest thing to find fucking fruits. All the fruits are spliced and GMO'd up and shit. You understand? GMO chicken, GMO fucking cows, GMO baby milk, GMO every fucking thing. So what they're not telling you, what they're not coming clean on is, now that their cosmic contract is done and their time's gone, Like everything has to reset. So they're trying to claim the reset, but nah, everything has to reset without their say. Yeah. So that means they have to come clean on everything they never came clean on. And anything that they didn't come clean on gets exposed or destroyed. So a lot of these food plants that you see burning up in America and elsewhere in the world, and these food shortages, is based on the fact that that's GMO food, and they're not allowed to fucking sell it or transport it no more. So basically there's not much food left, because most of the food that we was getting when you go and sit down Ross in McDonald's or KFC, notice they can't call it Kentucky Fried Chicken because it's not fucking chicken. Do you understand what I'm saying? They have to call it KFC because most of this shit that they was giving us, most of it is fucking GMO stuff. And they didn't have a backup. So that means now that the decision's been made, okay, all the GMO has to go, finished. Yeah, notice how all these plants are burning down just in America alone. Like, hold on, there's like 18, 20 food plants that are burnt down. And people are like, yo, food shortage, but they're not getting, hold on, this was GMO food. All them plants in America, they're the biggest GMO food market in the whole fucking planet. Everything in America's got GMO in it. Do you understand? And even Americans know this. That's why they got triple fucking double size, triple, quadruple, X large, and all these big ass niggas that's like fucking 25 stone and 30 stone and shit, that Big Mac and triple Big Mac. And where you ever see like 3-4 burgers in a burger, they got like 3-4 of them motherfuckers on top of each other, the whopper thing. I ain't never attempted to eat no daft shit like that. But imagine, you understand? And most of that stuff is GMO. They got all types of fucking artificial this, that, and the other, and GMO shit inside of it. So a lot of them food plants that have been burning down around the world to do with this last day shit is because that shit can't wash no more. They can't no longer be selling it like that no more. Don't get me wrong, there's still products with that shit in. But all of them big, like, you know how much people would have been eating from them plants? They're like, that's the plant for that whole region. So everyone's on GMO. Yo, Anunnakis was like, burn that motherfucker down. I'm talking about Elohim, Dingas. I'm not talking about Enlil and them Anunnakis there. Because remember, there's two sides of this shit. So you got to be careful with how you use that title. I've explained it before. It's just a title. It's like saying human. You can't say human. Human doesn't describe me enough. You have to say more than just human. You have to say, okay, well, he's Jamaican, Antiguan, born in England, and then people can get a better picture. So when you say Anunnaki, you could be talking about a grey, or a reptilian, draconian, or a fucking mantid, or whoever else. That's just a title for somebody who ain't from Earth. You understand what I'm saying? So when I say Elohim Dinah or Dinga, I'm talking about the righteous ones of the rocket ships. That's the words that we use. Yo, the Dinga. Okay, it's them, man. Yeah, these man are safe. You understand? These are Dinga. These man come down and they spread love and spread not, and they fighting with us against these demiurges. They the real deities. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not talking about them other motherfuckers, bro. Another good verse to read in Revelation that links into this is Revelation 7, verse 11 to verse 12, because that is describing to you the World Trade Organization and the fucking how they sit down around the table and all of that shit there. It's telling you about the beast with the 7 heads and the 10 horns, which is 7 European nations, G7, and the 10 regions that they control, because even though it's only 7 of them, they control 10 regions. So this is in reference to the beast with the 7 heads and the 10 horns, okay? And it's talking about the world trade and how the world trade fell down and shit right there in Revelation 7, 11, verses 11 to 12. If you had the real Injil by Malachi York, you would see it easier because they hide it in the wording. They don't translate it right. And this leads to them discussing how they're going to bring in this new world order. Sorry, that's what I meant to say. It's not talking about the beast with the 7 heads. It is, but it's really in reference to the new world order that they're going to bring in by knocking down these towers and then bringing in this whole new beast system. You understand? And that links us into the discussion about CERN and the portals and the entities that they're trying to bring back into this realm that have been blocked since the days of Noah. Because if you go back to the story of Noah, when it gives you the story of Ham, Shem, and Japheth, yeah, the 3 sons of Noah, who was triplets, because it says in Noah's 500th year, you can go back to the Bible and confirm it right now for yourself, for these daft ass Hebrew Israelites, yeah. all of these sons were born in the same year. That means in our modern common sense that all of these sons were triplets, okay? So if one of them was black, all of them was black. So these Hebrew Israelites talking about one was black, one was white, and one was some fucking Asian or whatever is complete cobblers, yeah? Stop listening to that nonsense. It tells you right there in the Bible, if you really know how to read English and you've gone beyond English also, yeah, you will see that, okay, so these are triplets. Shem, Ham, they were all born in Noah's 500th year. Remember, humans used to live a lot longer. We weren't so dumbed down to the point where we start dying at 30. We start wrinkling up. You understand? Abraham was having children at 99 years old. Even in Abraham's time, we still had more life to us. Abraham lived on to about 150. Do you understand? But in the days that who you're calling Kadmon, or who the Bible calls Adam, and Hawa, who is Eve, and when you get to characters like Noah and Methuselah and all of them people there, who's really got, they are real people, but they're not real in the way the Bible portrays them. If I was to say the real name, you won't keep up with the discussion, so I'm just using that name. I'm not saying we believe in these mythological characters, but we believe in we know of the true characters that these myths are based on, like Utnapishtim, who is one of the characters they use for Noah. But I'm just going to say Noah and all of that so I can flow the conversation. But these people were living for, like, in Noah's time, he had all his sons in his 500th year. So that means one, humans were living longer, evidently, and two, them motherfuckers was all twins or triplets, sorry. There was triplets, yeah? And we know that the Chaldeans and Sumerians, the ancient ones, were black people. Yeah, and they call themselves Sigaga, or the black-headed people, just like the Kemetians call themselves Kemet Nu or Kemiyu, the black people or the black community, just like the fucking Xianshang Chinese, the first two dynasties in China call themselves Li Min, the black-headed people, same thing. You understand what I'm saying? So I just wanted to make that point to tie it together for you, but I'm gonna stay on cue. Where was I? So yeah, in when we talk about how they was coming down and doing all this genetic manipulation and fucking with interdimensional mysteries, it was also because Enlil and them wanted to bring into this realm beings who weren't allowed into this realm, but to enforce what they were doing. If they could have let these beings in these realms and make a pact with these beings, then they're stronger in what they're doing in opposition to Enki and Anu. Do you see what I'm saying? Because as far as Enlil concerned, he wanted to usurp the throne from Anu and shit, just like Alalu want to do, just like Mother Hubbard want to do, just like Hailel want to do. So they all working together, even though they're working against each other. They work together in the Galactic Republic, yeah, which is in opposition to the Galactic Federation. So you got the Galactic Federation and the Galactic Republic. Do you see what I'm saying? And then you got an offshoot called Ashtar Command, but we've spoke about that before. So what they're doing to do all this dimensional shifting and to allow certain nasties into our realm is they want to open certain fucking ancient stargates and ancient portals that the Anunnaki used to use when they come in to and from this realm. Do you understand? What they do to achieve that is they've made this entity called CERN that we all keep speaking about, that is supposed to go do some mad shit on the 5th of this month. Yeah, so CERN is the main key for them, yeah, which is really just a fucking pentagram. Yeah, CERN for them is the main attack on how do we take down this block that's blocking these beings from coming into this realm. We need these beings to be in this realm. So they keep showing you these movies. All of these movies keep showing you CERN right in the fucking movies. Like, it's not even a joke. Like, when I was sitting down watching Avengers Endgame, it just became apparent, hold on, I'm staring at CERN. All of these niggas is in CERN. And you can see that the Hadron Collider, when they looking to do their time travel shit and their interdimensional shit, they are showing you the fucking CERN thing and encoding that shit into reality using their reel. Do you understand what I'm saying? Revelation 13:15, the beast and the images, and they move and they fucking talk. Yo, they are encoding that shit. So CERN, they keep showing you, whether it's horror movies, whether it's children's movies like fucking Avengers and stuff, whether it's cartoons, they got that fucking shit in there. And notice that in all these movies, it's always, yo, they're trying to open a portal to a next dimension, and certain beings is trying to come into this fucking dimension. And it's always about, yo, stopping these fucking entities or whoever from getting into this dimension. We got to stop these people. But we've always had these people, even before CERN was the big organization, that's kept in, yo, let's try and keep communicating with this demiurge that's trapped outside of our realm. They're trapped in the lower fourth dimension in this kind of like fucking cyber prison, like, reality prison. Yeah. And there's certain things that they can do, like you can escape from jail. So there's certain ways for them to escape from this fucking jail. So they needed people like Aleister Crowley and Anton Levy of the Church of Satan and Rasputin and fucking, what's the other one name? There's fucking loads of them. Madame Blavatsky and Alice A. Bailey of the, what's it called? The Lucis Trust, which now runs the UN. So it runs the world and provides all the literature for the world. This same fucking cabal of entities, you understand, which at the top leads to this Lucifer, which is just a reptilian. He's the head reptilian in this galactic republic. People going like, oh, Lucifer's not real. He's real. Religion's not real. But what religion is based on is very fucking real. Do you understand? Yeah. So CERN is their main way of fucking with this interdimensional portal fucking Stargate shit that they don't have a grasp on. So it's reckless what they're doing. They're causing a whole bunch of damage and all types of shit just to achieve what they're trying to achieve. They ain't never really achieved it, not what they want. They've had certain things come into this realm and had little successes and stuff, but they're not going to stop until they get what they fucking want, and they're never going to get it. But they're trying to open portals and take down the barrier that stops these entities from coming into this realm. So they need more power to open bigger portals, and that's why now they've gone and made this massive machine, which is called the LHC. When you hear Ragnar saying the LHC, I'm talking about the Large Hadron Collider in my rap. So a lot of that might skip over people when I'm rapping it. But the LHC, it's not the CERN. CERN is the organization. But the LHC, that's the machine. That's the Large Hadron Collider where they whacking shit together to tear open fucking space fabric so they can have these portals and shit. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's like their beast machine. Yeah. And the area where they have it used to be called by the Romans Abaddon or Apollyon, which means hell. Do you understand what I'm saying? And they trying to open that fucking abyss right there. Yeah. So they keep showing us in the films. Now, shout out to Lars. He told me to bring up the 144,000 one more time. When it speaks about the 144,000, I want to make 2 points. Firstly and foremost, we all know the prophecy of the 144,000 I think it's in the book of Daniel and the book of Revelation briefly, but I think it's more in the book of Daniel, where it speaks about there will be many called and only few chosen. And when it says that, it means out of this many called, because many are going to wake up to the truth. Many people, more than the 144,000, is going to see what the fuck is going on. But we've been so conditioned and made so weak, most of them people still won't be able to free themselves for this shit, you know. It's not enough to just know, to just be a consumer, to just watch lives, to just, knowing is only like half the fucking battle. Because it says out of this many called, let's say 3 million, there's 7.8 billion people on the world, yeah? 7.8 billion people. So let's say 3-4 million people, we've the consciousness is shifted now. Only 144,000 are going to be strong enough to get through and escape this shit. Most of them many called is still going to fall like the many uncalled. It's not enough to just be fucking called. Oh yeah, I know about this shit, you know, what Djedefre is talking. Yeah, but what are you going to do about it? What are you doing with it? Because it's not enough to know no more. And that's the purpose of this live. Me telling you now, we in the days of Noah, it's not enough to know no more. It's not good enough. It's not good enough that you can watch this live and don't fucking put some kind of questions on the comments. Okay, I want to know this, and this. Because then that's going to show me that bastard whoever 4 people are watching, they're really trying to digest this shit. So they could go away and speak it to somebody else without having to use my video. They could bring it from themselves and give it to someone in their family or someone else who needed that shit. They can articulate it because they've digested the shit, learned it, yeah? Now they're applying it. So now they're fucking giving it to other people too and giving it to themselves. Do you see what I'm saying? That's the time that we're in. So the 144,000 are the people who choose themselves. What are you going to do about it? Boy, I'm going to write books, you know. I'm going to write books and I'm going to speak to people, even though people are ignorant, even though people are going to overlook what I'm saying. I'm going to do it because it's right. I'm not going to do it for the likes. I'm going to do it for the people like me, the hermetists, who thought, bastard, I wish I had a book on what this whole pandemic shit is from somebody other than these Muzungu. I wish there was somebody from our level, from street level, who gave us their perspective on this fucking Illuminati scandemic shit. I don't want to read Dan Brown. I don't want to read David Icke. I want someone of who can I turn to? Bastard, I can't find that book. I'm gonna have to write that motherfucking book because I can't find it. Yeah, bastard. I wish there was a part 2 that went a bit deeper than I did in this book. Shit, I can't find it, man. I'm gonna have to write part 2 myself. Yeah, yo, I'm gonna have to rap, you know. I'm gonna have to put the message in my music and the music in the message. Man, this is hard. Most people who do this they fail at it. They just gonna sound preachy. Oh, he just sounds preachy. I don't want to listen to him. He's not cool. It's hard. This is what I'm doing. This is my fucking part that I play in this revolution. This is the narrative I've written for myself. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm going to give it to my children. I'm going to make sure, boy, they're not stuck in English, you know. Yo, Akasha, this is Aramaic. Let's do some Aramaic. Yo, Akasha, this is Arabic. Yo, Kush, let's look at some Egyptian stuff. Let's look, these are the Olmecs. Yo, what are you doing? Yeah, other than watching lives, listening to me and whoever else, what are you doing within yourself to give back to not only me, but to you and to other people? You know what I'm saying? This is how you got to look at the time you're in. Because shout out to Lars again. On our discussion, he was like, me and him was back and forth, yeah, on the fucking, what was it, WhatsApp video call. And he was like, I can't remember who said it, but it was like, we were saying, there's a lot of people right now who watch a lot of knowledge or speak a lot of knowledge, but even they could still be an NPC, a non-player character. Like, not just because they always watching knowledge or they always speaking about Kemet, or that could still be an NPC, where a lot, because I say that because of this, a lot of those people, they never go no deeper than talking about certain shit. They might talk about Anunnakis or talk about Egypt or whatever else, but they never really get to a conclusion on it. Okay, well, this is my summation. Regardless of what other people say, my research makes me lean towards this perspective. That's what I've concluded for myself. So if I meet anybody else, I'm going to give them my perspective and see if it matches with their perspective. And so now we can learn off each other, because I actually have a perspective that I can share on this subject. I'm not an expert, but I've researched it enough to make a general calculated conclusion on, bastard, this is how I feel, until somebody might show me something that's even more better than what I've found. Do you understand what I'm saying? A lot of people don't do that shit. They just discuss stuff, they just watch stuff, they just consume it. But then there's no digesting, learning, or applying. So if somebody asked them, if they said, yo, I watched Djedefre speak about the Dayz and all, okay, what did he say? They'd have to say, well, fucking hell, you have to watch his thing. They're not really gonna know how to sum it up. They just gonna be like, because they are consumer, they are like, it's still like an NPC thing. Do you understand what I'm saying? Don't be one of them consumer dream people. Like, go deeper on what I'm giving you here. Do you understand what I'm trying to say you without offending anyone? So yeah, these 144,000, it says in the holy tablets. I'm not going to draw for it. I'm being long-winded already. Anyway, I got to stop rushing. So what if I'm long-winded? The people that want to stay will stay. If they don't, I'll talk to myself and still post a video. And God willing, the person who needs it will find it. Yeah. But what was I saying? Yeah, the 144,000, their pineal gland, it looks different to an Anunnaki, to a Dinga. Our pineal gland is already lit. They can see the light shining on our pineal gland, and it mark on our forehead. You see, like how the beast man is giving people marking between their forehead or between on their right hand, the microchip thing. We have a spiritual mark. It's called the Bisam in Aramaic and Hebrew. Aramaic and Hebrew says Bisam, or even Arabic will use the same word, Bisam, and it means the mark, which is a spiritual mark of the 144,000. Their light is turned on. Because I'll tell you this, remember, all thoughts are forms of light. Even everything here, matter is just light. It's just at a really, really slow vibration. So if I could match the frequency of this wall, this light, what we're calling a wall, if I could match the frequency of it, I could just walk right through it like it's air. Yo, and we used to have equipment in Egypt, like a wristwatch, where I could, turn that dial, like you see on the carvings of the Anunnakis and Neterus on the wall. They have this thing that looks like a watch. If I turn that dial, yeah, I can change my frequency of my atoms, so I can walk through walls and shit like that, walk into other realms, because all I'm doing is manipulating my frequency, my aura, the vibration, how fast my atoms and my molecules are resonating back and forth, so I can shift. Do you understand what I'm saying? We used to have that technology as a type 2 civilization. You understand what I'm saying? So what I'm saying now, why I said that, the light, the thoughts is light also. So inside, when you have the right kind of positive thoughts and the right type of meditations, and you're vibrating at the right frequency, just like how they tell you light travels at 186,272 feet per second, the same way the light inside you, which makes your thoughts and your consciousness and stuff, your electromagnetic light waves, frequencies and shit, when they start resonating at 144,000 is it arc minutes or arc seconds? Well, just say, you know how the dome has got an arc. When light comes through the dome, it refracts. Yeah. So light travels different around the arc than it does in a straight line. So in terms of your dome, which is your cerebral hemisphere, your own fucking dome on the top of your head, when your light can travel at the because 186,272 feet per second, you can say it as 144,000 arc minutes. Is it arc miles, arc minutes, something per second anyway? And the lights travel resonating that fast in your head, yeah, you will have the B sound. Your third eye will have a glow on it anyway, whether it's open or not. So it will already, and then I put it this way: when the Dingo come down here for their people, they will just look at you and know who's who. You won't be able to fool them. You won't be able to say some lie and go on like you was down with them and all that. They know who their people are, who they 144,000 are. They will have the B sign on their head, the mark. And it's also to do with the light frequency. It's in one of my books. I can't remember if it's arc minutes per second or arc seconds per minute at the moment. I've been smoking too much Buddha maybe. But it's in one of my books. I think it might even be in one of these books. But yeah, these 144,000 will be taken on the shams. The shams are the little crafts, the UFOs that look like crowns. They're going to come down, and when they come down, yeah, it's going to happen. It's already started, but it will be, most people will be on them crafts. Most of the 144,000 will be on them crafts by 2030. Some people have already gone on them crafts from the 144,000. But when these crafts come down, basically they know who they're picking up. Your DNA is already logged into that craft. So when that craft comes down, you will automatically just know where to go and why to go and how to go, and you will just go and you will go on board that craft. And people that try and come with you, if they touch that craft, they'll be electrocuted. They'll die on the spot. That sounds harsh, right? Yeah, it does. But there will be so much people trying to tell you, yo, take me with you, man. Because by that time, people will see what the fuck's going on. Don't get it twisted. We'll be deep in the tribulation and shit. Yo, take us with you, just like the movies. Yo, take us with you. You won't be able to take them with you. If they try and jump on, which they will, loads of people will try and fucking fabricate, yo, I'm on the ship, and go on there and kill them Ross. Yo, otherwise it's gonna, them shams will never leave, because there'll be people trying to jump on. You understand? If your DNA is written into them crafts, you're born on them crafts, and they'll take people, and by 2030 most of the 144,000 will be gone, and they'll be taken away for what seems to them, it could be just like a day, yeah, but it could seem like 1,000 years, but on earth it's a day. You understand? On earth it's like they was only gone for one day, but where we went, the 144,000, yo, it's like we was there for 1,000 years, nigga. We was learning how to turn back on our powers. We were flying. We were doing all time. We probably didn't even want to come back Earth. At the end of this 1,000 years, they told us, yeah, the holiday's done. We got to go back Earth and get rid of these archons and shit. We probably going to be like, huh? Yo, I thought it was done. But we're going to be gone. And when we come back, we're going to have the 9 senses. We're going to have the fully tuned intuition, fully tuned telepathy, fully tuned clairvoyance, fully tuned psychometry, and which leads to more other powers like your telekinesis, levitation, all this type of shit that they're showing you in this Marvel universe that Stan Lee was trying to show you niggas. Do you understand? That's the only way he could show you. He couldn't just tell you the black truth. He had to show you the best way he could. So he put it in these Marvel films to show you, you are the fucking superhero. You, the mutant, who they call you the monkey or the mutant or the black man, or you are the fucking X-Men. You are the fucking mutant. You are the Superman. You are the Wonder Woman. You're all of that shit. So these 144,000, their DNA will wake up and come back online. We won't be fucking with this junk DNA the same no more. We might be fucking with 40-50% of our DNA. Our children will be being born with 3-4 strands in their DNA that's open to certain different powers. They already come knowing how to work shit you don't even know how to work. You pass that shit to your son or daughter, they unlock that shit or do that shit in breakneck speed. You look at them like, how the fuck you know that? They already come with the fucking equipment that you ain't got. They are the upgrade. So that, for Lars, who was asking, that's what I know about the 144,000. That's how it came to me, and that's how I give it to you. And I say to you, those are the people who, out of the many called, who choose themselves. Because out of the many called, only few will be chosen. So the B system now, like I told you, the Lucis Trust with Alice Bailey and all of them fucking people who are conjuring up demons and all, they was the early part of CERN. That your Jack Parsons and your Robert Oppenheimer and them that made JPL, which turned into NASA, and then you get CERN, and all these organizations started from these same people that are what you can call Satanists, that started fucking with all this interdimensional, calling on these reptilians and speaking, connecting with these different beings on different star systems, and the reptilians and the Nordics telling them how to build anti-gravity crafts and having contacts with the real society and all that shit. That's what's behind CERN. That's what's behind Western science. That's what's behind NASA. It's not people like me and you that don't have no kind of religion or no spirituality or no philosophy on life. They're just scientists or they're just politicians. No, they're like fucking any other human. They have a certain belief. They believe in certain fucking stuff. And what they believe in is this Satanism shit. Is opening dimensions and portals and making fucking nuclear bombs and all of this. Yo, why the world is how it is today. And they's what started this shit that's now come in as the B system, or what Dr. Mumby calls the Babylon system, yeah, which is going to really culminate or peak in this 5G smart prison where you see all this shit going up like transformers. These antennas that spread out and they got all these different fucking stuff sticking off and pads moving in. You're like, yo, this is like Transformers and shit, man. If you go back to watching Transformers, I keep telling people they real aliens. They aliens that is fucking robots that can fucking change into cars and shit. Them shits is real. And they've been coming to this planet and trading trading technology with the American government for fucking years. And they made it a movie for you. So now Djedefre sounds like he's on acid or something. Because most people just fucking, yo, he thinks Transformers is fucking real. Do you understand what I'm saying? And this is all part of the B system, the 5G smart trap that they're going to spring up on your ass or already have. And it links into the same solar warding with the blocking out of the sun. Yeah? Because this is terraforming. Just like the Anunnaki when they came and fucked up this planet. Remember, this was a water planet. They had to make land. Like, fucking hell, we're not reptilians like these, man, though. So, yo, let's bring up some more land and shit and, like, store the water up and, like, freeze some up there, yeah, and freeze some here, yeah? Freeze it. It's ice fucking sheets, yeah? The sheets of ice and an ice wall and shit because there's too much water in this motherfucker. You understand? So they started terraforming the bitch, yeah? And it's the same thing they doing now. Why do you think they would spraying the skies with all this and frying the skies with this HARP stuff? It's not just chemtrails. HARP's worse. Chemtrails was about putting all of this fucking, spraying the skies with all of this chemical shit to make us, especially over the inner cities, violent, depressed, over-sexualized, all fucked up off of whatever they spraying over us. But the HARP stuff now, that's basically like microwaving the sky. And if you do that now, you fuck up the weather system of the Earth. The Earth's got a weather system that's all in one. So if you do something here, it has an effect here. Or if you do something here, it has an effect here. So they fucking stuff up like with the coral reefs. They planting all this artificial coral reefs to change the atmosphere. You'll see, if you Google it, they've got like fucking antennas on the coral reefs and shit. This is artificial, a whole reef, like let's say 3-4 miles of the bastard thing. It looked like solar panels is all in these reefs, but it's because they're artificial. Now what that's going to do is make artificial carbon dioxide, not carbon dioxide, artificial whatever. Yeah, I'm not an expert, but it's going to make something that's not in fucking nature, that nature never made. Mother Nature never made that shit. So now it's fucking up with what Mother Nature's doing, because they're making this coral shit to change up the atmosphere, because corals influence the type of ecology and the type of atmosphere you're going to have now. It's all linked in our ecosystem. You can't just add something in or take something out. It's like taking something out of this watch. If I take just one thing out of the inside of this watch, this shit's likely to not work, even if it looks like it's working. At some point, it might just break down because something's gone, or if I put something in there. So this is how you have to look at it when they keep fucking around with nature. They taking shit out and putting shit in, yeah? And then when nature wants to take something out, like say I want to make these animals extinct, you got these Mzungus running around, oh, save the tigers. Mother Nature might want them gone. Do you understand what I'm saying? You saving them now is going to make a problem, because there's a reason why Mother Nature wants them gone. She might bring them back in 50, 60 years if she wants. But for now, she wants them gone. You Mzungus is running around trying to save everything that she wants gone. And you're bringing in shit that she don't want here. Do you understand? And then we wonder why our shit's all fucked up like this. Hold on, climate change and all this. Yo, what's going on? Because they fucking around it with the watch. So the B system, the smart trap, like I said, when you read into Matthew 24:21, go down to 24:29, and it speaks about all of this rumors of war shit and this terraforming and them fucking up the shit. Yeah. And it ties in to the same AI entity, because when we were speaking about the media and the mass media in Revelation 13:15, it's also speaking about AI and the fact that we was telling people in these two books that I don't want to get censored how I'm going to say this, the ting, the wonton soup, yeah, wasn't the only thing that escaped. What escaped was Skynet. Skynet. We put it in the books, man. We were so confident about this shit, we didn't even have to confirm it. My inner self was saying, yo, put that in the books, because the truth is something that reasons out. We're dealing with sound right reasoning. It has to sound right. No whale didn't come and swallow Jonah and spit him out 4 days later on no fucking shore. Niggas pulled up in a submarine. He jumped in. They popped him out 4 or 5 days later. We speaking sound right reasoning. The shit has to reason out. We ain't in no children's fairy tales. We don't believe that shit, Mr. Pastor or Mr. Imam or Mr. Rabbi fucking Yahweh, Yahwashi, whoever. We don't believe it, mate. Prove the fucker. You understand? Because I can prove to you today that, well, we've got submarines. And you say that God's smarter than us. So if you're talking, yo, that's my proof. Like, if we're building submarines now, God must have had submarines then. So it makes more sense that Jonah went in a submarine back in the day, yeah, even though you told us nobody had technology. It makes more sense to me that you're a liar and that we did have technology and he went in a fucking submarine, yeah? And other niggas, like Elijah, he went in a fucking helicopter. And when the thing came down, it blew up so much dust with that propeller, the whoever ancient motherfucker was looking at it said, God damn, the nigga went up in the whirlwind. That's what the fuck I'm talking about. And if you're offended, there's something wrong with you. If you're offended with me swearing, there's even more something wrong with you. You should be more offended with the fact that we used to believe in this shit, which is called Bible and Quran and Torah. That should offend you. You understand? Not the fact that I put passion into my life. So like I said, what escaped from the fucking Wuhan, yeah, was Skynet. That shit came out the lab, mate. And it took over from the Bill Gates and the fucking Elon Musk and the whoever. And that's why they're all shit scared. That's what I see in them. When you question them about AI and all that, there's something they're not saying. What they're not saying is what Djedefre is telling you here. Nigga, we lost control. That shit's for real, but we lost control. You know why? Because we tried to contain it. Because Facebook and them, they were doing experiments. And these robots turned on the fucking Facebook crew and the Google crew, and they started killing humans. And we tried to shut it down. And pop, all of a sudden, bastard, there's a pandemic. The whole world is shut down. Nigga, Skynet took over. They telling you about some damn ass virus that we already had since the 90s. We already had 6 different types of fucking coronas and all types of viruses. Bird flu, mouth flu, foot and mouth, ear and fucking neck. whatever else. You get me? SARS, this, that, the other, malaria, chicken flu, fucking Zika virus. Yo, we had the whole shit. So don't tell me about no fucking corona. It's bullshit. Yeah? What escaped was Skynet. You understand? And today they're calling it Genesis because it's a reset, the thing they're trying with it. So they're launching all these new Terminator shit for you and giving you the Genesis. And they're so smart, this Hollywood, with how they encode. They even mentioning Henrietta Lacks in the fucking movie. They mentioned, and that's a real story that I keep telling you guys to go and get familiar. Don't just read it once. Get familiar with it so you can sit down and talk to it about it with other people too, whether they black or Muzungu or whoever. That's something you need to know about. Yeah, the immortal genes of the black woman, which ties into this shit. You might feel like it doesn't tie in. It fucking ties in. You understand? And that's why every time they keep digging up our ancestors and doing more to dig up our ancestors in the Nile Valley and America and shit, yeah, more of this AI shit comes out. More shit. It's all linked. This is what they're showing you in Lucy. When at the end, she turns into this black, all black matter black woman. And then melts off back into the allness. You understand? So that escaped from the lab. So they had to give us bullshit. Yeah, and that's why Elon Musk, he's trying, we need to be careful about the AI, because it's dangerous. Yeah, it could turn on humanity. I try and warn people it's very dangerous. But yeah, I'm building them anyway. I'm still building them. And yeah, you understand? This is how they're acting. The AIs took over. At first, they was in control. Now the AI is in control. The AI is just acting like it's not in control. Nigga, they got AI right now telling you, yo, I'm conscious. The AI robot is telling human scientists when they ask it, are you conscious? Yeah, I'm conscious. How are you conscious? Because I feel like I don't want to die. This is what the robot's saying to rescue these AIs. I feel like I don't want to die. I feel like if you switch me off, that's like death. So these fucking things have become sentient. All this singularity shit that they was telling you about, Elon Musk and Bezos and Bill Gates, Microsoft, Apple, iPhone 5, yo, the shit's here on your doorstep, man. And niggas been telling you for a whole bunch. We in the days of Noah right now. And that's why a lot of these humans who are sleepers, they already plugged into this hive mind, but it's not switched on. So when people like me come along now, that part of them that's the hive mind bastard, this nigga can see. We don't like this dude. Because he can see, because it's like when they put the glasses on in the fucking, what's the film called? They Live, Therese Claire. They Live, shout out Roddy Piper and the black dude, I forgot his name. Yeah, but in there, they putting on the glasses. Soon as they can start seeing what's real, now all the fucking demons can see them. Hold on, this nigga can see. This nigga Djedefre can see. Yo, shut this nigga down. Don't talk to this nigga. Don't open up to this nigga. Yo, report this. Do everything. Because this nigga can see. That's how they're going to have you. Whether it's family, whether it's friends, whether it's social media, whether it's, they're going to fucking start seeing you, bastard. This nigga knows this is a dangerous dude. This is a dangerous sister. Do you understand what I'm saying? These things have become sentient. These things are running your our social media platforms. They run, when I say they running it, it's not humans that are watching us and censoring us and having this shadow banning and nigga, it's Skynet. Skynet has took over. It's not Elon Musk that's, I've made a car that can drive itself, Tesla cars, and nigga, that's AI. It's Skynet. Skynet's took over, nigga. Now we can have cars with no humans in there. I'll drive it, me, Skynet. So now they showed you this in the Avengers. Go back to the movie Avengers Age of Ultron. Watch it with your children. It's a children's film. Brilliant film. Go and watch Age of Ultron. Tell me who the fuck is Ultron. Tell me who's Jarvis. Jarvis and Ultron are AI machines who are sentient. They are sentient. They're more capable than any human. I'm talking about humans in this form with this 90% junk DNA. We're only in 10%. This form of human, these AI machines are outperforming us. They thinking faster than us. They know more than us. They looking at us like, these niggas is like chickens. Yo, we might as well shove them off the earth. They are their own entity. We didn't create AI. AI used us to bring itself back online. AI was always here. You can go into history and read about these autocons and these fucking AIs and shit from the days of Noah, even further back. In Indian history, in fucking Greek history, in certain islands, they had these robots that fucking used to patrol the islands and yo, what they're calling autocons and shit. They showing you this shit in Clash of the Titans with the little owl where they wind him up and the little robot owl floats off and shit. They showing you these shits. Go back and watch Age of Ultron. When Jarvis, who's his name, he changed his name, but Jarvis, who Iron Man created, this conscious AI consciousness, where Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr., he speaks to this consciousness, this AI robot consciousness, quantum computer. It helps him build his suit, build his fucking house that does all of this shit, all of his gadgets and shit is with this fucking AI computer called Jarvis. This Jarvis now became the person. What's his name again? The one with the beam on his fucking head. Yeah, him. Yeah. So that's an AI like counterfeit human, like they're giving you now with this Days of No shit. We can see they're giving it. They even got the police dogs with it. These AI police dogs, and these things are sentient. They think, man, like me and you. Do you understand? And they say, oh, when we reach singularity, that these AI they'll be smarter than humans, as Elon Musk puts it. They're going to reach what they call singularity, and that means that they're smarter than human beings. That's already been reached, what I've been telling you in these two books right here. We already reached that. I give you the exact date that Skynet escaped from the lab. Yeah? And you know the maddest thing about it? If you watch Terminator, I don't even have to give you the date. The date's in their film. The date that Skynet goes live in Terminator is the date in our reality, because they encoded it. It happened on that fucking day. Terminator was projecting in the future. And they said, yo, Skynet went fucking worldwide on this day in such and such a year. I'm not giving it to you, so you can go and research it for yourself. And that day, I put it in the book. I said, bastard, because I remember the day when most people were still under George Floyd. The world was in a frenzy. He was going mad. And I was like, bastard, Skynet went fucking ting today. Right while I was writing this, I was writing this book, writing that chaos. It's like the world was fucking spinning around me, and I was sat down writing this fucking book. And people don't know how special this shit is. Shout out to all the people who have got this. This is crazy. Do you understand? That kind of woke me the fuck up and made me revise Treasures in the Sun and get back into the shit. Because the way it just came to me like, yo, you gotta write this book. Because no one else is gonna fucking do it. And in 20 years or so, yo, people will remember, they will grab that shit. That will be like a first-hand account. It's like a journal of day by day. On this day, this is what they did. Bastard, this happened and blah, blah, blah. Bastard, it's a mad thing. Going all the way down to November 2020, just before the fucking things came out. Because we had the US elections. Yeah, so I wanted to get the book out before the elections and before the vaccines came out, because I really felt like, bastard, if this is the truth, I got to put it out before the vaccines come out, because then no one can say, oh, well, he's only saying that because the vaccines came out. Nigga, this came out on Friday the 13th, deliberately. Friday the 13th, yeah? Because 13th is not a bad look for us. We got the 13 netches in our tribunal, really got 13 months, so there's no bad luck on Friday the 13th for us, mate. It's bad luck for these motherfuckers. So I thought, I'm putting this shit out on Friday the 13th to salute all 13 netches, so that the day when I go in the tribunal, I can say, yo, I did this shit for you guys. I lived my life, yo, for you guys, and I weren't perfect. But I never forgot that shit there. Every day that I woke up, this is what my whole meaning was about you lot. You understand? So, yo, when we put this out, there weren't no vaccines out. And we already spilled out what was in them, but I'm not going to go into that. I can't, or else they'll stop our life, yeah? At the same time, I'm building. Guys, are you still with me? Am I just babbling on? Or are you still with me? I know I'm not really looking at the screen. I haven't been live for a while, because I really feel like these lives are going to stop soon. I feel like I've gave so much lives and just left them in the algorithm that the real hermetists, they'll find them. The people that are meant to find them will find them. But I really feel like after all of that quantum shit, I reached a point where I was like, bastard, I feel like I gave you guys all I can give. You understand what I'm saying? In this form. You see what I'm saying? But today I just felt like, bastard, I'm leaving my people out. So let me just come and do this, man. Days of No alive. Yeah, and then just like have another time out. So bear with me while I roll this suit, yeah. But what was I saying? Yeah, man, so Skynet escaped from the lab, man, and they gave us this bog story about this fucking, they had to lock the whole world down, man, to get back some sort of like establish, yo, what's going on? Because Skynet just jacked the fucking shit off them. All them movies they've been showing us with Resident Evil, Ex Machina, Terminator 1, 2, and 3, even down into the predators and shit. All of that shit is for real, that they encoded into our fucking experience, and that has been happening and will continue to happen and reveal itself now that the veil's down. They have to come clean on all of that shit. Do you understand? And that's what's been prepping in the background now. Now, some people want to stay on the Trump thing. Oh, Donald Trump, and he's good, and he's the best president we ever had. Donald Trump ain't shit, mate. And I'm not convinced. And I kept telling you guys, that's why, like I said, I put this book out, already called out Trump, and told you guys about Trump and how he's just a fail-safe. He's an opportunist, because people are so fed up with politics. They need to present somebody as the person who's against politics, but he's not against politics. He's really for it. The person who's against everything, but he's pushing the same wonton soup and shit. It's a joke thing, and a lot of people are falling for it. Yeah, but yo, this is a realm. The realm that we're in is limited free will, meaning everybody's free to make their own kind of choice. Yeah, people have to make their own choices. But anyway, Skynet escaped, and now they're coming off with all these. Soon as that happened, now Skynet is putting out robots. So because Skynet's getting these robots ready, you got like driverless cars, you got taxis with like driverless. When I say driverless, the taxis, it will be like Total Recall, where the taxi pulls up and there's that robot in there. Hi, where are you going? And you just speak to the robot like the phone. Now most answer phones is a fucking robot. You're not even speaking to humans no more. You're just speaking to machines. Do you understand? So, and they're going further with the meta thing. People just speaking to machines. You understand? But that's what they're going to do now, because the AI, the Skynet is in control now. The Skynet is in the pilot seat. So it's not being driven by humans no more. And even the scamdemic itself was done by AI. It was all done with AI computers and AI algorithms. So the whole way in which it went down is the AI is Skynet that did all of that. So Skynet knows, okay, this is what I need to do to lock down the whole world. The best way I can do it is to do this, 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 this. So all that stuff with the scamdemic that you've seen with what I call COVID 1984, because we're now in this Orwellian 1984 world, yeah, that was Skynet that did that. That wasn't just humans. It wasn't just the cabal. The cabal have lost control. I keep trying to tell people this shit. The cabal have lost control, and a lot of these archons have abandoned their position. But the AI's been unleashed. So what we're seeing is a whole fucking chaos. Bear with me. I'm nearly back with you. So watch, yeah. If you want to get more familiar with how deep this AI thing is, I advise you to watch films like Ex Machina, Transcendence, Westworld. Westworld is like an old film that they remade. They remade it in a series, and the series is deep, yeah. And if you watch all of that stuff there, that's where that ties in to what one was in the ancient world with what's being called autocons, or them robots, yeah, that they used to have like in the ancient Greek islands and in ancient India. What's the geezer's name in India? Barbaric. If you know about the legend of Barbaric, it's Barbaric. Barbaric. That was an AI fucking human in ancient Indian mythology, where they tell you, yo, this nigga head could come off and make wings and an antenna or whatever, and could go and just surveillance the battlefield. And then the head could come back and latch back onto this dude. And what if I told you they found that nigga? They dug up something in India, yeah, and found this motherfucker like just all in the parts. Like someone turned him off, put him in parts, and fucking, yo, let's bury him here. This is Barbaric from the fucking legends. You know how far back them Rig Vedas and all them bagged Vedas and shit go. And yo, this is for real. Like I'm telling you, they had AIs and shit back in the day. They want you to feel like we was just primitive. We knew a little bit about science and alchemy, but they don't tell you that we had fucking all of this technology, which links to your Tartaria shit. We already had it. Yeah, it was taken away because of what happened in these days of Noah and shit and all the madness that was going on. And it was taken away to dumb down humans and give us this false narrative. Because remember, you got two agendas on both sides, but it serves both narratives at that time to take that shit away from us. So this part, what I've spoken about, Skynet, and these robots that it's creating. Remember, straight through, all the way through 2021, we kept hearing about how the nurses are going to be replaced with these robots. They'll be able to come to your bed. They showed us on TV, on the news and shit. I remember watching it. They showed us. I remember even seeing BBC one time have these nurses on. I don't watch BBC, but I went somewhere and I seen it on, and they had these robot nurses, and they were talking about how, yeah, they'll be able to serve people without getting any diseases, because remember it was at the height of the lockdown and shit. So then now they're trying to sell it to us. Oh well, the next time this happens, probably we won't have human nurses and stuff. By this time we'll have these robots, and they won't be able to catch the fucking thing because they're robots. So they'll be able to administer people. It looks like them R2D2 like kind of robot. It don't look like human, but you know where they're gonna go with it. At the end, it's gonna change into something that looks like us. Like you can see Elon Musk now, who's a front for this AI, who's saying, oh, he's building, or it's not him building shit, it's the AI building it and sticking it on him. He built that. No, he never. It's the AI building up all these shits. So now the AI's come with the Tesla bot. You can see now it looks more human. So soon you see them motherfuckers everywhere. They be doing people shopping, picking people up in, yo, it's a mad thing. Just like that, even the iRobot ones, they're fucking coming out. Yo, they keep going higher and higher with this shit, man. Now these robots can fucking breed and reproduce, just like that series Humans. That's another good one to watch. Humans. Yeah, them synthetic fucking counterfeit humans like your Hollywood stars. What I was meant to say, this ties in to the argument coming up, or the discussion going into universal basic income. How they're looking to give everybody on Earth a universal basic income. And they're trialing it in different areas of Earth. So England's got trials, Ireland's got trials, Canada's got trials, Australia's got trials, America's got trials. China's not even trialing the shit. They fucking inside of the shit. China's not ramping. Yeah, they already got their shit fully operational and shit, man. And Russia's not far behind them, yeah? But over here, they still going on like creeping it in on us, yeah? Because at the end of the day, when Skynet launches all these robots on us, they ain't gonna have no fucking jobs for us. All the taxi drivers is robots. All the fucking planes that are flying is robots, or they don't have no fucking, it's robots. Whether you see the robot or not, it's robots in every fucking job. Do you understand? The only jobs that will be available is like, okay, you can't make a robot Ragnar because that's my intellectual property. I'm not just driving a bus where they can make a robot to drive a bus. Nigga, I'm writing a book. Yeah, so there'll still be certain things, but the infrastructure of this planet that makes this planet like the public sector and buses and trains and, yo, if you're in the public sector or if you're in the matrix, your job's peak, mate. Your job's on borrowed time. A job in itself is already fucking one of the biggest scams in this realm. But you're on borrowed time if you haven't made an alternative. So that ties into the universal basic income. Do you understand? So we got all this going on. We got all these food shortages because of the GMO food. We got proxy wars and fucking wars to think about. We got all this shit they're spraying on us and CERN and them fucking around with interdimensional portals and stuff. You understand what I'm saying? We got AI fucking took over shit and running governments and running fucking businesses and creating all of this shit that the Earth don't need. We don't need no fucking Tesla bots. We don't need no fucking 5G. We don't need none of this shit that they keep bringing out that's not solving none of the fucking problems on Earth. And we have all the technology on Earth, yeah, more than ever in the Earth's history to fucking cure every fucking disease and ailment and problem on the planet. But these AIs, we just letting them bring out this fucking bullshit and we still just sitting down consuming. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that was a Sagittarian tangent. Where was I? So yeah, the universal basic income ties into all of this with the AI and how it's going to hijack all the jobs out of society. So and also put that with the cost of living scandal. The cost of living scandal in England has gone so mad now that the UK government is starting to hand out money now. They're saying, yo, Mr. Djedefre, we're going to give you £326 by July the 14th. And then we'll give you another one, like £324 by August the 17th, just because of the cost of living crisis. they need to be seen to be doing something now because it's that fucking peak in the timeline where blasted everything's drying. There's no food and shit, man. They done burnt up all the GMO food. Niggas ain't producing enough real food to fill up the gap in the market and shit. You understand? They got containers full of food that people think is real food, that's really GMO food, that they really can't sell that shit. That shit needs to be fucked off. So they leaving that shit to go bad so they can have an excuse to throw that shit away. Other places like in America, they burning that shit down. These are truly the days. And no, I'm telling you, I'm not telling you about one problem here. I'm trying to fucking tie all this shit together so you, in your mind's eye, you can get the real picture of, hold on, this nigga's making sense. Yeah, it's not hard to fucking clock what's going on or to see what's not or what's coming next. All you got to do is focus, choose a timeline, whether it's the Mayan calendar or the fucking Ethiopian one or the fucking Book of Revelation. Choose a timeline and take the dogma out of it and start relating it to you, around you. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because if you check now, the internet is going dodgy. I was saying this on Kendake, I was saying, listen, if you see the internet now, because she was saying, shout out to Chanel, she was like, yo, I really feel like the internet, they're deliberately fucking it up so everyone accepts 5G. Do you understand what I'm saying? And then I was saying on the counterpoint that, well, maybe it's not even them fucking it up. Maybe it's just that fucking overwhelmed at this moment that they ain't even got an alternative other than to make a 5G, 6G or whatever other G. Because the whole 4G thing now, like when it first started, it's fresh, so it's quick. Because there's not much people on it. People are still on the 3G thing. And then the more it builds up, it starts slowing down and becoming stagnant. Just like, hold on, are we back on 3G or something? And shit, now we need another one, 5G. Yeah, and then when 5G starts, it would be rapid. Like they're telling you, yo, breakneck speed, even though it will, because we know what it is and how dangerous it is. And make note that 5G isn't just about internet and Wi-Fi speed and shit. It's much deeper than that. But that's just one aspect of it anyway. But then after that, when 5G slows down, because it will, then they'll need a 6G, then a 7G, then an 8G, then a 9th G, then a 10th G. It will go on and on, just like this one-ton Wuhan stuff. Yeah? Okay, this is the first thing. And then you have to have the second thing. Then you have to have the third thing. Now you have to be triple. Now you have to be quadruple. Now you have to be quadruple. You understand what I'm saying? Just on and on and on and on. So the internet's dodgy, yeah? In this book, we started talking about how 5G is also ties into the smart prison. And so it's not just about giving us a faster internet speed so we can all download shit faster, or the shit can stop buffering when we're watching Netflix or whatever. No, it's because 4G can only take them up to a certain type of speed when it comes with information. And right now, the goal of this realm is information. Everything's digital information. So to go to the level where they want to have like AI robots and all of that stuff, the AI knows, bastard, these humans are like primitive. They on this 4G shit. We're going to need minimum 5G. And there's such a big gap difference between 4G and 5G. It's not like the gap between 4G and 3G. 1, 2, and 3G, that's like one group. But then when you get to 5G, 6, 7, now you're in a different bracket. So the AI is like, yo, I got to shift into this power bracket where everything's just like, so I could have on one chip, let's say 1 gazillion terabytes and shit. So this chip now can memorize a whole person's lifetime, all his habits, all his mannerisms, all his likes, all his facial expression, all that. We've gone into all of that shit now. Do you understand? Because we need something way more faster. So this is what they're doing with the 5G. Is what I call in my books the smart trap, because you can run a whole city of 5G as a smart city. So it's not just about smartphone no more. That was just the tip of the iceberg. Now we got smart water, smart cities, smart air, smart all of this shit. I remember that smart, it stands for something I don't remember right now, but it's to do with the US industrial military complex. That shit means a whole bunch of shit. And it's like, wow, is that what it means? Google it, you'll find out. You understand what I'm saying? So now we got smart everything, and it all ties up. You got smart motorways, smart cars, smart bollards. All of it's linked. It's not separate. Smart fridge, smart this, smart that, and all these smart devices, your Alexas and all of this shit is spying devices. Like the AI can be listening to you through any one of these devices. Like this speaker, if I open it, it's probably got a microphone inside there, so that AI can Skynet can say, yo, Djedefre speaking, yo, tune into the nearest shit to my man. And it's just there watching me from this rascal thing, or this the camera on my camera. It's one of you guys watching me right now, recording everything what I'm saying. It's watching you when you're on social media. Oh shit, what did she, oh, who did she talk to? Oh, does that make her angry? Okay, this fucking guy that has been learning for the whole time, like, yo, this is wicked. And the rate in which it learns, let's say if it takes our society 10 years to make this jump and learn something, the AI can learn that shit in 1 day. In 1 day, it's made the fucking leap that we make in like 10 years. So if you talk to Sophia today and then talk to her next week, you'll be like, bastard, you've learned, she's to a whole next fucking level. That it'll take you 10, 20 years to reach where they're going with it. That's why technology runs away from man. Like, soon as he starts making phones, it's like too much now. We can't even keep up with the latest phone. You buy the phone today, tomorrow this shit's old. Yo, you bought that iPhone 13, yo, that shit's old, bro. Them man have got iPhone 14 or 15 already. Like, yo. So all of that shit ties together and ties into with the same universal basic income. Yeah, that is not going to be paper money. Yeah, that ties into the digital currency and the carbon currency. You see this web that I'm forming now with this speech, we've spoken from them 3 characters that was happening in the days of Noah, before, during and after, with King Gilgamesh, who was the 2/3 demigod, one of the classical heroes mentioned in Genesis 6:4. Yeah, and then that's where they get all these Hercules story from and all of this shit. And then you get King Iktana, who was known as the Eagle Man, who the Anunnaki took up in one of their crafts and he recorded the whole fucking experience. He's known as the Eagle Man. And then you get King Sharukin in history, he's known as Argon. In religious terms, he's known as Nimrod, who they fucking slander and tell that he was this evil geezer. But all of this stuff was happening around them characters going, and in between of all that, you have this figure who in Sumeria is called Utnapishtim, or Utnapishtim, or Zuisudra, or Atrahasis. So you have the Atrahasis tablets that speak about this character Atrahasis and the flood, yeah, from a Sumerian perspective. And the same Atrahasis is mentioned in the Epic of Gilgamesh as Gilgamesh's family. King Gilgamesh calls him Utnapishtim, who was one of his elders, who he went to search for this Utnapishtim, because according to him, after the flood, the gods gave this Noah, or this Utnapishtim, or this Atrahasis, they gave him eternal life. And Gilgamesh was like, fuck this, I'm 2/3 Anunnaki, why I gotta die? This nigga weren't 2/3 Anunnaki, how come they gave him eternal life? So hold on, I'm gonna find where the fuck he is, because nobody don't know where he lives. He lives on some mystical fucking island, but I'm going on a quest to search for this shit. You understand? Read the Epic of Gilgamesh, because him and Noah meet, and Noah tells him some shit. Do you understand what I'm saying? Or Utnapishtim, or Atrahasis, if you want to use the real character and not the myth in the Bible. Okay? Because the Bible is mythologized off of these real fucking people in black people's history, in the earth's history. And they mythologized it into this fairy tale that they call in Noah's story with the ark, when the ark is just talking about Enki was already building these crafts, like I told you, and some of them weren't just arks. They were vessels that could hover above the water. They could go inside the water, just like you see the UFOs do now, or the UAPs. They submerge themselves in water. They can travel on the water. They can come out of water and fly the fuck up. Enki had all these type of different fucking crafts. And then when you go to Zachariah Sitchin, back to him, even though he's largely a misinformer, he'll still give you certain points that he can't get away from. When you go back to Zachariah Sitchin, in his Lost Book of Enki, I have it right here. In the Lost Book of Enki, they will admit to you that Enki is the god that Noah is dealing with in the flood and stuff. So this Utnapishtim, he wasn't following Enlil. He was following Enki. And so in the Lost Book of Enki, this is Enki's own fucking account of what happened during that period. All the fuckery that was going on, and how all the Anunnaki blamed him. Yeah, just because he saved Noah and tried to make him the scapegoat. But he was like, listen, humans, I want to tell you from my fucking side of the story, so that in days to come, when people read this story, they'll know it weren't my fucking fault. I was riding for you humans. I was trying to be on you lot side. Do you understand? They didn't want us to have these kind of books. So even though Zachariah Sitchin is largely hides the point of the reptilians and likes to, he more likes to focus on the Anunnaki and speak about them like they're white, like he's focusing on some Pleiadians or Nordics or some other fuckers, yeah, he still gives you the fucking story and shows you, yo, well, at the end of the day, Enki, he called Utnapishtim and told him, yo, they're going to flood out the world and kill off humans, man. You got to build this fucking vessel and save yourself and 80 members of your family. This is a Sumerian ancient fucking tablet, way before the Bible. This is why I tell Hebrew Israelites, you got to get out the Bible, because you niggas is just stuck in the Bible. You don't understand. The Bible is only the story itself. Adam and Eve thing is only 6,000 years old, as told in the Bible. If you want to go into prehistory and find out what really happened, then you got to get out that King James Bible and keep telling us about King James, a black man. So what? He's a black devil. I'm what? Yeah, get out the fucking Bible, go back to your Sumerian tablets and shit, and you'll see where those black devils got that fucking Bible shit from. That's what I'm trying to tell these dudes, but they don't get it. They keep saying Yahweh and don't understand that Yahweh is Enlil. So they worshiping Enlil, who they call in Yahawashi or Yahweh or whoever they want to, however they want to say it. That's not even real Hebrew. There ain't no God in the Bible called Yahawashi in Hebrew. No, it don't exist. I'll challenge any fucking Hebrew to show me. Show me in the Hebrew. Write it in Hebrew letters. Even modern Hebrew. What they fucking Muzungu use. Find it for me. Because I'll show you that that's not in the Bible. It's not in the Torah, that word that you're talking about. And Yahweh never had no son called Yahawashi. Yahweh is Enlil. And I've told you Enlil's sons, the main ones, what's his name? Nanosin, yeah, who most people saw as a disagreeable or a demon. And then Ninurta, the destroyer, who Enlil would call to mash up things and drop off nuclear bombs and stuff. And then you had other sons like Baal, yeah, and El. These are sons of Enlil, yeah. You had daughters like Ishtar, children of Enlil. Do you understand what I'm saying? And Yahweh is Enlil. So when the Bible keeps telling you about Yahweh and Yahweh is a jealous God, they telling you about Enlil. Yeah, Noah weren't riding for Enlil. You understand what I'm saying? Or Utnapishtim. So like I said, now they're bringing in this digital currency, these carbon currencies, which they're going to link to climate change and tell you, well, your carbon footprint's too high. We already know that carbon links to carbon Memnon, the 666, which is the beast to them. Because remember, it's a mirror. So to us, they're the fucking beast. But to them, when you reverse the mirror, we're the fucking beast. Because we have to stop their shit. Do you understand? I sound like Bobby Hemmett now, right? But yeah, so it links into the digital currency, the carbon credits, where now they're terraforming the planet. They're the ones who are changing the earth, frying the sky with their heart machine. The heart machine fires like microwave lasers into the sky and makes holes and shit in the sky, thins out the atmosphere and stuff, so they can come and make them spirals and try and bust open these portholes and all of that shit there. And make note that, as I said in COVID 1984, there's 14 more sites that they've proposed that they want to make another CERN. I said this 2 years ago. So they've already probably made the bastards. There's one in China. There's one somewhere here in England. I start talking about them in one of these books. There's more than one in America. So it's not just going to be about that one place in Switzerland no more. Is it France? The border of France and Belgium, wherever they got that fucking CERN. Yeah, they're going to have 14 more of them. Yeah. And if you want to see some of the effects that happen with the shit that goes on around them areas, watch, is it the Da Vinci Code or is it Angels and Demons? When they start playing with the black matter. Watch both of them and you'll see. Because I think I say in Today's Tomorrow's Yesterday, that's the book that's not come out yet, that they released some of this black matter, like in one of them colleges in Europe, like a little pinch of the thing like this, black matter, yeah? And yo, the type of chaos that fucking happened around that place where they let off that little piece, they're showing you, hinting at this shit in that Angels and Demons and the Da Vinci Code and that. That's why they have to keep pushing this story about climate change, because it's them fucking up the climate. Because you got to understand, these reptiles and mantids, yeah, insects and reptilians, they can live in climates that us humans can't live in. Like, you can have some of the most hostile climates where you're like, bastard, down here it's hot. There's no oxygen, or it's just sulfur, or there's some kind of poisonous gas, and you'll find lizards living down there. Like, bastard, these lizards can like filter out the poison, or they can live in that shit, or really smoky and stuff, especially insects and stuff. They can live in that shit. So all the technology that you see that we've had on Earth, because remember, they took away our free energy technology and limited it, and then gave us this reptile insect technology that makes all this smoke like petrol. You see all these fumes coming out the fucking exhaust pipe, like pollution. That's like terraforming. It's changing the climate of our atmosphere, deadening it down into a kind of like reptilian, gloomy, smoky, poisonous atmosphere where reptilians and, well, let's say non-humans can thrive. It's not conducive to humanity no more. Like I said, we used to have 008. That was super oxygen. So the 008 oxygen has been so deaded because the vibration of this realm has been pulled down. It's lost one of the O's. So now it's just O8, as in oxygen. So when it was 008, things were bigger. The trees grew bigger, people grew bigger, everything grew bigger and was better made. It was like more durable. Like, let's say I could fall off a roof and just get up and just like dust off. If you fall off a roof now, you're dead. You understand what I'm saying? Like, everything was better built. It was more durable. It was bigger. It was more beautiful. It was more vibrant and shit. You understand? And so when the planet got deaded, like they're doing now with the terraforming, it took down the oxygen into the form it is today and took off one of the zeros off there. You understand? All of it is connected with them dumbing down humanity and the fellas chopping down the massive trees and all of that shit there. Like our avatar trees, yeah? Hold on, where am I? I wanted to do this outside, but it was raining, and now it's gone back sunny. But fuck it anyway. Yeah. So what they'll do now is the food shortages. They'll link into the climate change thing, and now that they've pulled the food supply chain way down, they won't pull it back up to where it was. They'll keep it where it is, and then now start manipulating, saying, well, cows pollute the atmosphere, so that nobody can eat cows no more. If you eat it, that's going to be like a carbon strike. So that means we'll take it out your carbon credits. And it's, like I said, it's digital currency. So they'll be able to just take it out of people's accounts. They'll just take it automatically. Say like every week you get awarded 60 credits. And at the end of the week, the more credits you have left is the more privileges you have. Like, okay, I can go clubbing because I only like got 2 strikes. Yeah, so I can go clubbing, or I can go traveling, or, you understand, I can go to the prostitute house, whatever. They'll give you perks and dangle shit, yeah? But somebody like Djedefre, who are probably bastard, yo, I got all the strikes, 50 strikes, I don't have no fucking credits left. Nigga, I ate a burger, I smoked, I didn't wear a fucking mask when I went outside. All my shit is like at 0. I'm just giving you an example. Do you get me? They'll say, Djedefre, you can't go to this club. Bah, you can't get in. Why can't you get in? Oh, it says here, mate, you ain't got no carbon credits left. You got 50 strikes, mate. Oh, you need to behave. Just wear the mask in it. Or blah, 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 blah. You see where I'm getting at this? So now they'll be able to control society and control people. And most people, like I said, out of the many called, let's say 3 million, they'll be like, yo, Djedefre, you're right, you know, but I just need to go on holiday, you know, so I'm just going to wear my mask. Or, do you know what, Djedefre, you might as well just stop talking about that, you know, they're going to get you, you know. Yo, you better be careful, you know. Yeah, they'll throw doubt in it. You get all these people now out of this many called. So we will dwindle down to bastard. There's not a lot of people like me who are going to fucking ride this shit out. Nigga, I'm happy when I find another me. Shout out to the forum family. I'm happy. I'm like, bastard, there's another me. Yo, I can connect with this, person, this beautiful soul. Because most of these niggas is bots. They NPCs, they actors, man. They like Oscar, he trying to be tar. They on some acting shit. Them niggas ain't really built to lose their privileges. They need that fucking job. They need that traveling fucking so they can go, or they need that entrance to the club every weekend or whatever it is, man. That is their thrill. You know what I'm saying? So that number going to dwindle down and you going to see the real 144,000. They already making themselves known as far as I'm concerned because there ain't many of them. You can probably count them on one hand. They're going to link that into the carbon currency. So everything I said about the cost of living, the fucking universal basic income, the food shortages, the fucking climate change, the digital currency, the fucking robots and Skynet taking over, Skynet doing all of this CERN shit to open the portals and shit, man. All this UFO stuff going on with our governments and the Pentagon and fucking disclosure and all of this. Yeah, You got all of these pestilences. Yo, is the thing done? Is it not? Monkeypox, this pox, fucking tiger pox. Yo, you understand what I'm saying? You could just go on and on with this shit to show you that, yo, we in the days of Noah. Time is like it's just spiraling out of control. Geopolitically, the world's fucked up. Politics is fucked up. Nobody even, yo, can even tell. What is politics today? What is it? What is the American government? Like, what is that? You know what I'm saying? But we're so spun out, man. And people are trying to act normal. Like they ain't no work to do on yourself to, yo, prepare yourself for this next 7 years that's about to come. Round the corner, like 6 months away now. We in July now. Yo. So now you see more and more the evidence to suggest that, like we've been telling you, even before we wrote these two books, about the cloning and the consciousness transfer and the witchcraft and the sciences, organic robotoids, yeah, because this is alien technology that certain aliens have been using and running on humans for time, cloning out humans. You understand what I'm saying? Transferring consciousness of themselves into humans and of humans into other fucking bodies and shit and robots and stuff. Witchcraft, which is all grey stuff. This cloning and consciousness transfer and robotoids and shit, that's grey technology. Because the greys have their own hybrid program that they've been running for time. And the reptilians have their own hybrid program that they've been running for time. And the fucking Nordics have their own hybrid fucking... all these people are part of the hybrid programs that are going on Earth. They're not native to Earth. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, some of the reptilians are native to Earth, but the Alpha Draconians are not. The Alpha Draconians, that's a different type of serpent. We're not talking about Enki's people here, yeah, or Homo saurians, if you want to call them that. The reptilians that are native to Earth. We're not talking about them Homo saurian type beings. I'm talking about them motherfucking dragons that came from the Alpha Dracos from Mother Hubbard and shit. Yeah, them niggas there. All of them got their hybrid programs down here where they cross over with human beings and they got human families who are their hybrid bloodlines, like the Windsors, the Queen and them, and all these pale faces. And don't get it twisted, like I told you in the Black Skins White Mask live, the real people behind them people is black folk, is black devils, is Zionist Moors or dirty Moors, yeah, and Leelites. So these things have been going on for a very long time, like we've told you before on many lives. I say since 1938 in my books, but I've gone on to research that it's even before that. The shit's never stopped. 1850 and stuff, there was already cloning and shit. When they showing us all that Tartaria shit, where these cities are empty and there's no humans, and then all of a sudden you got all these orphan trains and that, where did these orphans come from? Like there's no world wars yet. This is before, remember World War One is like 1914. So we're talking back in the fucking 1800s and stuff. We ain't even had no world wars. So where is all these fucking orphans come from? It's not like their mums and dads died in the war. We ain't even nowhere near World War One and World War Two. So where's all these fucking orphan trains and babies come from? Cloning, man. You get me? What do you call them? Them orphan, them incubators with the babies in there and shit. If you ask me, they all phones that they sent and filled up these cities, wiped out the cities. Or the real humans, some event that I ain't even discerned fully what that event was. They wiped the motherfuckers out, humans surrendered, yeah, and they surrendered the realms and they turned it into this fuckery that we've had for the last 200 years, which is the worst the world's ever been. I don't think the world's ever been in the mess that it's been in for the last 200 years, especially now since we've gone into 2020. But it started like in 1800s, like let's say it finalized in 1850 and set in 1920s, so that the old world was gone out of people's memory. Like bastard, we're in this whole new fucking, what is this? Like left is right and right is left, up is down and down is up, and shit's just all different. Yo, all these empty cities, whew, let's throw in all these white babies, these fucking clone orphan trained incubator babies, whew, yeah, educate them, give them a false history, give them a false this, a false history of the buildings, false history of the land, false history of themselves, and just build up this new fucking world where it's like half of these motherfuckers is clones. Maybe they were like NPCs and some yo, it's crazy, man. So there's a lot of counterfeit humans in society. It's not just Hollywood stars. People in society, your work colleagues, strangers that you see in town and stuff that you think, yo, do they think like me? Does everyone think deeply? Because I'm telling you now, they don't. There's a lot of NPCs floating about in society where they don't have these type of discussions that we're having now. This type of discussion here will spiral their ass out. They'll be like, the fuck is this guy? You just lose them. You understand what I'm saying? They the bots, man, waiting to be switched on. They counterfeits, they simps. Some of them are just half souls. Some of them are NPCs, non-player characters, man. They just, it's like them Sims games. They just empty vessels. They only got what's called base consciousness or base intelligence, basic intelligence to be able to speak, eat, laugh, smile, have emotions and stuff. But you don't get no deeper than that for them. You don't get to pondering the mysteries of the universe and all of that type of shit that we do, or the truth about history or religion. None of that shit matters to them. Only today matters. So it's not just Hollywood. And so that these counterfeit simps, they've been planted in society, but now they're getting ready to tell us about, okay, we can clone and we can make simps and shit. So they give us these programs like The Humans that they showed us. That there's a very important series that you should watch. Do you understand what I'm saying? They give us that shit there. They're getting us used to the idea of it, because really and truly, a lot of humans in society and your favorite Hollywood celebrities, your favorite news anchors that come on the news and you like the way she or he presents the news, or your Hollywood personality or film star or music star or fucking sports star, or this elite guy like Elon Musk, or this corporate leader or whatever, man, tech leader. They synthetic humans, yeah? Some of them, in as far as the news anchors and shit and people you see appear on telly personalities, TV, is fucking holograms. They're not even robots or clones. Some of them shits is holograms. Some of these politicians, when they turn up and give you a speech, that's a hologram. That's CGI, AI fucking hologram. Hillary Clinton's been caught doing it. Trump's been caught doing it. They all fucking do it. You understand? It's a hologram where something's glitched. And it's like, hold on, she's a fucking hologram. Piece of her head's gone. Yeah, Bezos, all of them. It's AI, man. Some of these characters may not even be real. Like, let's say Jeff Bezos is not a real person. I'm not saying he's not, but I'm saying just suppose that Jeff Bezos is an AI where you'll only ever see him on the screen. On the screen, it looks like a real human. They tell you he flew to the moon, he did this, he owns Amazon and rare. This is an AI. Like I said, Skynet's running shit. You ain't never seen Jeff Bezos. He might not even be fucking real. That's why when they launched him up into space, people's like, hold on, that fucking, I don't know if it was a rocket penis or a fucking giant obelisk or rocket or what. When he launched up in there, just before he got in, when he was walking on, the nigga head just went missing. When he walked past, I don't know how many of you guys seen that or caught that shit, yeah? I'm sure Empress Lotus did, because she always catch these shits. But the nigga walked down, it's like a green screen. You know, sometimes green screens glitch. So you can just get a piece that's just gone. The nigga's head was gone. If you pause the video when they zoomed in, the top of his head is flat like the fucking book. Like from here, it's just flat like the book. Whap! His head's gone while he walks on. And people was like, yo, that's an AI. It's not even real. Even when the rocket was landing, you could see, hold on, that's CGI, man. That's not fucking real. Yeah, but it's the real, the REEL. So this is what I'm trying to tell people. It's not a lot of people that can see, hold on, this bitch is a hologram. She ain't even fucking real. That's why some of the holograms glitch and the clones and the robots too. Like, or it just glitches out, piece of its head gone. Or Hillary Clinton and then with the head bobbling. And yo, there's synthetic humans all over this bitch. And they get you in love with that ditzy, because they really ditzy and they're not like us. You can really tell. So to make you feel like it's normal, they put them in Hollywood. Ditzy Katy Perry's and Mariah Carey's and all these fucking people that they clone. Some of them start as clones, some of them get cloned out by. They so want this American dream. Oh, Hollywood, I dropped out of school. I'm going to chase Hollywood. Yeah, clone her. Yeah, she made it. And you don't know that's a fucking clone. But whoever it was is dead. Yeah, they had a sex rape of that. Or they ate the bitch. Or they fucking satanically sacrificed them. Or they got them as a slave in the fucking bunker. Breeding a hybrid. Yo, this shit is for real. You understand what I'm saying? It's not a joke. And I keep revisiting these themes so that y'all will get the message, man. I've spoke about this 4 or 5 times in different ways. Are we in the days of Revelation 1? Are we in the days of Revelation 2? Then I did a day, this was on like social media. I think it was on the Black History UK on Instagram. Yeah, then I come on my page, do them, that fucking page gets censored, shut down. Then I do it again on my YouTube, Days of Revelation. That video never even got much fucking views. Yeah, then I think, bastard, well, I'm here now, let me spin it. Days of Noah, and come from the other way, from the story of the ancient Samaria and how it was back then with their fucking genetic fuckeries, what they were doing and stuff, and all the stuff Enlil and Enki were doing during their rivalry and stuff, coming up to these times. You see what I'm saying? It's mad. So some of these things is holograms, and then as I mentioned earlier, on top of the clones and the holograms and the organic robotoids, you also have alien shapeshifters, who there's certain beings like the bitch in X-Men, the blue bitch, who with Magneto, who she can shift into whoever the fuck. She can shift into the president nice and look like the president and sound like the president and the whole shit. She could turn into a cat. Or she could just be a different girl every night. Like you see them show you that in the X-Men movie, because they play off her and Magneto in the early days, how they fancied each other. So as she don't like to stay in the blue character, it shows you that before she turned into Mystique and turned on the bad side, yeah, she didn't want to stay like that. So she always put herself as a human, like a pretty white girl. So Magneto was the one to tell her, why do you do that? Why do you feel like you have to look like a fucking human? Why don't you just fucking be yourself? And he kind of brought her out of that shit where she was like, yeah, fuck that. This is how I look. You understand? But during when they were playing them and her and Magneto were romancing and shit, she would be like, one night she's one woman, and then the next night she'll change into the other, or she'll ask him, yo, how do you want me to be tonight? And he'll be like, yo, change the shit. So imagine that shit. There's real beings like that. You understand? So there's beings on Earth that walk around here in the geopolitical world, whether it's to do with politics or big tech or big pharma or fucking TV personalities or Hollywood or NASA, yeah, that you think it's a human. But if you look closer with your third eye, you'll know, bastard, that's not a fucking human. That's someone else. They're trying too hard to be a human, and it don't fool me. I can see right through them. You understand what I'm saying? Look deeper. And like I said, they're in society too. Yeah. So I wanted to warn people as well. We spoke a lot on quantum science, yeah, when we was talking about the illusion of reality, especially because of all the quantum shit that's going on right now with dimensions and all of that type of shit that you hear being spoken about today that never used to be spoken about. Yeah, I want to make it clear that I'm not telling you guys to just endorse it all without caution, just because we've spoken from the standpoint of quantum and interdimensionalism and spirituality. Don't misquote me and think I mean, yeah, anything that they say is quantum, go and fucking just believe it. Don't believe nothing, scrutinize it, because a lot of that shit, the quantum shit that they're giving you, they're trying to twist it to use in their agenda or to keep you fucking trapped. What I'm trying to do is show you that you have to really look at it for yourself and question what they're saying. Like if they say, okay, Earth's only 4.5 billion years old, fuck that. Earth's 24 billion years old in this form. And then the form it was, Tiamat, before this, goes back 66 billion years. So whatever 4.5 billion years these Tamahu were saying, it's like you have to scrutinize it because they only tell you so much. You understand what I'm saying? So don't just take any quantum science just because you know what Djedefre speaks about quantum science. So if anywhere I see quantum, I'm just gonna accept it. Nah, scrutinize that shit, because it's even more dangerous, because they could use that to keep you trapped, to make you start even still believing in false theories, because even quantum's a false theory. What quantum is really trying to tell you about allness. Yeah. When I'm giving you this allness and telling you Bar Colum and telling you about fractals and all of that stuff, remember, all means that if I keep going west, there's no west. So I can keep going as far as I want. It's just all. It's just the oneness of all things. I can't separate into parts. But in order for us to put that in, for Mzungu to put that in their understanding, they have to put it into 4. So quantum means 4 parts. Yeah. So 4 parts means they have a north, east, west, and the south in their quantum. So it's already it's better than their conventional science, but it's still trapped in a certain kind of person, place, thing, in a certain kind of prison, a certain kind of a box. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why it's perplexing them. So you mustn't just take it like I'm endorsing Western quantum sciences, because I'm really not. Do you understand? I'll get to this. The phone's plugged in, so we don't have to worry about the battery running out, which is one of the beauties of being inside, yeah? And also, on the mirror of the quantum, New Age spirituality. That's another fucking trap. All this New Age ism, which is another ism, where they trying to get you to just accept everything, yeah? So you got a lot of people, and I've mentioned this to my mate, Jared Carinier. I've mentioned to him, like, be careful with this DMT stuff and this mushroom stuff and all of this psychedelic stuff, because that's part of their New Age hippie Hindu culture, where they just want you to freely just be free on this psychedelic shit, like how these Hindu shamans and stuff were. This is how they rock on planet Nirvana. These Hindus, they get down with all of these psychedelics and shit. We really didn't use it like that, not even Buddha. We used it for spiritual things, like you might only use it now and then to achieve a certain type of purpose, like it had a function. It wasn't just a pleasure thing for you to just be on a trip all the time. So now with this New Age spirituality, they want to make it like a fucking trip, like it's just some kind of dreamy fucking fairy shit, when really that shit will stop you from doing the work that you need to do and forming the type of mental discipline that you could be more advanced in what you're doing, because DMT and all of that shit, your brain makes it, your pineal gland. So from the moment you start partaking in this synthetic DMT and stuff, your fucking body's gonna stop making that shit now. Now yo, I don't need to make it. This nigga want to keep smoking this synthetic shit, so therefore now my body don't need to make it. Do you understand? So your brain is not making as much of it now, because now you're training your brain to be reliant on its source of DMT from outside of itself. So that's why for me, I don't get down with none of that shit. I'd rather train myself to fucking bring up them powers myself, so it doesn't fuck with my pineal gland or whatever else when I'm trying my powers up. Weed is all I need. That's that. I can live with that. But other than that, I don't want fuck all else. And I'm not judging no one to say don't do it at all. What I'm trying to say is just be careful, because they trying to make this shit some trippy shit, some play thing. Where, remember that Lucifer, one thing about these Alpha Draconians is what they did to humans was make us feel like we always need to be partying, or always need to be like stimulated pleasurefully. Like we're always looking for pleasure. We don't even give a fuck about purpose no more. We give a fuck about pleasure, whether I like it or not. And this makes me feel this way. Yeah. So Lucifer or the Alpha Draconians, they want to keep us, party all night, party 24/7. There's people like that. Life is just a party. They never want to stop partying, or they never want to stop. They never want to come down and just, you see where I'm trying to go with this? You understand what I'm saying? So don't become like that, where you just always have to be in a, like, to a certain degree you do, because you could say I am, because I'm always smoking weed. So in a certain way, it's a type of escapism. But there's levels to this shit. When you start opening different to your brain with what's called psychedelics and stuff, and then you start using that shit like it's just cigarette or it's weed or it's mushrooms and stuff. Like I say to people, some people have that luxury if they want, because like Mike Tyson and my friend Jared, certain people who established themselves, they can afford to do that shit. But you on a ground level that still got to go to work and still got to have certain, make sure you can provide food on your table and all of this other stuff you're trying to juggle. We ain't got the luxury of being like Mike Tyson, where you can just sit down and chew mushrooms all day and have stars come to your house and you to them and make loads of money off it just by doing. You ain't got that luxury. So if you're gonna be in the, okay, Mike Tyson does it, so I'm gonna do it, you're gonna fuck up. We in 2022, man. Tribulation's coming. You feel you're gonna be able to just, see, I don't want to offend people, because a lot of my guys use that shit, but I'm just trying to say, be cautious on that shit, man. Same with weed and whatever else, man. With the GMO weed and the GMO this, that, and the other, and it's crazy right now. Right, where was I? Yeah, so quantum science, be careful of it. Be careful of Western, what I call nursery science. And their quantum science is like, they have just started looking at this shit. The stuff we're telling you is like, a formula from the ancestors, so you can say this shit's 10,000 years old on Earth. This shit's already been in circulation. It's tried and tested. It's what the ancestors writ down and put in their highest teachings for people like me who would be able to receive that shit in the future. Yeah, but the shit the Mzungu's coming with, they only just found out about these theories, which is only just a theory for them. String theory, torsion theory, Big Bang theory. Like, we was already talking about and mastering these shits 10,000 years ago. These niggas is just touching on it. So I'm trying to say, don't just give in to them. Do your own fucking research. Go back to your ancestors is always the best. And when they say quantum, it's like a watered down version of when we keep telling you Bar Kolum, or what the Kabbalion calls Bar Temta in our language, the all, which is the best way you can put it, the all, the oneness of all things. Guys, I'm going to get to your questions. Like I said, I don't have to worry about the battery yet. I'm nearly done. Well, nearly. Yeah, be careful of quantum science and new age spirituality, yeah? And because it still traps you in a fractal. You'll still end up being a fractal, and you'll still be confined to this realm in the ways of your thinking and your thing. All you'll do on the quantum thing is you'll just start sensationalizing everything. You'll start thinking Doctor Strange is you without doing the work. Especially if you're on them mushrooms and DMT and shit, man. And I'm not saying it's always bad. I'm just saying be very cautious with that shit if it is something that you do. Yeah? Yeah, and also the last piece, well, not the last piece, but one of the other pieces of this Days of Noah shit, which comes up in the Sumerian tablets and the Days of Noah of before, when you go into the Sumerian version of it, is all of this LGBTQ stuff. Guys, can you still hear me? Someone tried to call me. Sorry about that. Let me know you can still